Because I had logged in, I thought green. Did they show you all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Just give us a few minutes to get started. We got some really cool new technology here, and we're going to get it all up to speed, and then we'll get the meeting started. Thank you all for joining us. Everybody's mic is off. All right, so we can start the meeting. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Good evening. It is, as I get started on this, 5:06, and I'd like to call the meeting, this is a regular session of the City Council, Indio Water Authority. It is Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. And may we have, I'd like to call the meeting to order, please, and may I have roll call?
Councilmember Miller. Councilmember Huitron.
Present.
Councilmember Ortiz. Mayor Pro Tem Furman.
Present.
And Mayor Holmes.
Present. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is invocation by Pastor Tony Williams.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Let us pray. Father God, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we just come before you, just first and foremost thanking you. Thanking you for giving us the year of 2026. Thank you for giving us hope and opportunity, Lord. And we just thank you for life, health, and strength. And Lord, right now, as we sit here in chambers, Lord, we just ask that you govern this meeting. You govern this meeting with your wisdom. Let anyone that speaks be heard. Regardless of opinion, let everyone have their say. And Lord, we just claim unity and peace because we're from the same community, wanting the same things, the well-being for us all. And Lord, we just turn this meeting over to you. I ask you just guide the council with the wisdom and the courage and whatever they might need. Those that don't have a seat at the table, Lord, let them still be represented. Those who have agendas, Lord, let it be heard. And Lord, at the end of the day, we're grateful that we have this great and wonderful city, a city that we claim that is wonderful, that is great, has been built over time. And Lord, we say there will be no division, there will be no schism, there will be nothing that can break it down. So Lord, we just thank you. And all this we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you all.
Thank you. Next is the invocation. This is probably the most fun part of the evening. Flag salute by Samarie Morisco, Dr. Carry On Academy. Would you like to come up to the front here? Is she here? Hi. Okay, I'm going to tell the audience a little bit about you. What a cute bow. Samarie Morisco is 10 years old and was born in Indio, California. She is a 5th grade student at Dr. Carry On Academy. Samarie is very active in sports, both in and out of school, and participates in the morning and afternoon ELOP clubs. She has 3 sisters and 1 brother. Her favorite hobbies include drawing, painting, playing soccer, and many other activities. When she grows up, Samarie hopes to become a professional soccer player, an artist, or a professional organizer, or all 3. The world is your oyster. She is very responsible and enjoys keeping things neat and organized. Samarie's favorite subjects are math and physical education. No matter what she chooses in life, her goal is to always think positive, even when things get tough. That's perfect. Would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Don't go away. Do we have, it's down there. Okay. And just to take a second here, thank you and welcome everyone in the spirit of free speech. I just want to let you know that you will be heard. We look forward to your voices being heard. The opportunity for public comment is at the end. If you grabbed an agenda, it's at the end of the agenda. So please hang in there, bear with us as we get through this, and you'll have your moment, your 3 minutes to speak. So next item is the city attorney report on closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. On item 3.1, the city council gave direction by consensus. And I did want to also note that the mayor was not present and had recused herself for item 3.2.
Thank you very much. Correct. Okay, next item is item number 5.1, presentation by SunLine Transit Agency. It's an operational analysis. Hi.
Mayor Pro Tem Furman, council members, I also want to acknowledge SunLine Board Member Glenn Miller as well. I appreciate the time together there today. Thank you very much for having me. I'm here to talk about an initiative that SunLine is taking on right now. But before I do, I just wanted to, oops, let me, a little bit ahead here. Okay, I want to go ahead and jump here. I'm Mona Babauta, the CEO, General Manager for SunLine Transit Agency. We have an ongoing initiative that I wanted to share with the City Council and the community. Just a little bit about SunLine. We are your public transit provider for the Coachella Valley. Our service area spans all the way from the Salton Sea to downtown San Bernardino. So our service area covers over 1,100 square miles, and that's about the same size as the state of Rhode Island. It's a very large service territory. Our budget's about $50 million. And I got to tell you, even with $50 million, it's really hard to meet all of the needs within the Coachella Valley, but we do our best. We are made up, our Joint Powers Authority is made up of the 9 member cities as well as the unincorporated areas of the Coachella Valley, Eastern Riverside. And we carry about 3 million people every single year. Most of them are students. So we carry a lot of students to and from school. We also provide a lot of service to seniors. So the initiative that we're undertaking right now, it's called SunLine Rides Reimagined. So basically what that initiative involves, it's taking a closer look at the system, how we design it right now, how we deliver service. And we are looking at our strengths and our weaknesses. We hired a consultant to also look at our performance data to understand better where we are weak, where we could see some improvement, and where our strengths are as well. And what we want to do is take that data as well as public feedback and understand better how we can redesign the system and better provide service to our communities within the valley. And some of the questions we want to ask the public are, where would you like service? Do you want service to be more concentrated where jobs and where density lies, or should we go everywhere? Should we provide lifeline service all over the Coachella Valley so that everyone has access to a ride, one way or another? And so we just want to make sure we understand exactly what it is that the community needs and take the time to go out there and survey them and talk to them, and then take that back and make sure that we as we move forward with further service designs and service changes, we reflect what we have learned through our outreach. And so in terms of the process, so we are at the beginning. The process actually started last fall. And that was really the data gathering that we did last year. And where we're at right now is that we are actually going out and conducting a survey. So we are disseminating a survey online as well as in written form. And at the back of the council chambers, we have copies of the survey as well. We have it in written form in case some of the constituents here would prefer to do it in provided as in hard copy form. It's in Spanish and in English, and there's also instructions that allow them to see how they can submit this. And in terms of the process moving forward, so we are in the data gathering process, we are in the survey process, we're gathering all of that feedback. And then next steps involve meeting with stakeholders, and that would include the cities, as well as schools, as well as hospitals, major employers. We also include the tribal communities within the valley. So we are actually going out and trying to reach every part of the valley that we touch in one way or another. And then in terms of next steps, at around May or June, we will be presenting scenarios to the board of directors, and they will give us feedback on what the scenarios reflect. And those scenarios will reflect what we think we heard from the community, and they will provide direction from there. We will then also go and do another round of public engagement so that we can get feedback from the community on how they feel about the scenarios that we have drafted. And then we will continue on with the process and further refine our plans. And the final step is to create a final report that will then go back to the board of directors. And we will also do another round of engagement, public engagement, when the final report is about to be adopted. And that final report will be a guide for my staff as we make ongoing service changes over the next 5 to 6 years, which is really the time frame between now and when we plan to probably do another one of these processes. And we make service changes roughly 3 times a year, actually exactly 3 times a year. It's kind of driven by our contract with our labor union. And so again, I just wanted to just share, this is how we're collecting information. You know, we've already done a focus group. I want to thank city staff for participating on that focus group that helped us vet the questions that is included in the survey that I just mentioned. This is all tied back to our strategic plan. We want to make sure that we are carrying out the mission and the vision of the agency. And the only way we can do that is if we make sure that we are clear about what the community wants. And while I'm here, I just wanted to provide some other updates to the council. The Route 10, we expanded service recently on the Route 10 to serve the transit hub, which is right around the corner from here. We also are in the process of building a 3rd liquid hydrogen station, which will also have a public fueling dispenser. And we are in the process of building a workforce training center. A good number of our employees live in the city of Indio. So this space will allow us to continue to ensure that they have the right skills to advance the work that we're doing to serve the community. It's roughly an 8,500 square foot building, so there will be a lot of space for workforce training. And so with that, I want to thank the council. Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, and staff for your support and for your time tonight. And I want to point out the QR code right there. If you all point your cameras to that QR code, it'll take you right to the survey. And I just wanted to mention that right now, the city of Indio is ranking 3rd in all of the cities here in the Coachella Valley in terms of the number of responses. Palm Springs and Indian Wells are ahead of you. So we would love for everyone to scan that QR code, get your responses in so you can get ahead of everyone else. Thank you very much.
Let me try.
Yeah, if I could, Mona, I just want to thank you and your staff for, this is just a small bit of what you do. You've really helped utilize the spaces in SunLine in their main hub there off of, in Thousand Palms, right off the Varner Road there. But really, thank you for continuing to listen to our residents and change the routes as we need to and make sure that, like the ride share for individuals and the taxi cabs, making sure that everyone has an opportunity to get a ride. So you thought outside the box and you got a really great staff, and I'm honored to be on your board. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you very much.
Definitely don't go away yet, because I'm sure others are going to want to make comments or have questions. Please go right ahead.
First of all, thank you for your presentation. Link that you just showed of getting a lot of our young folks and students to school. I think we always, in our community and along with SunLine, we put education in the forefront of things. So I also appreciate that as well. And thank you for your collaboration.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Hi, thank you for joining us, and thank you for all your hard work. Thank you to your staff as well. Please send them our thanks. I want to thank you for being proactive on this issue of increasing ridership. I know it's a really tough job, especially with the unique region that we have, right? We have really unique challenges here with our folks riding the bus year-round due to issues of extreme heat and other issues that we have. A lot of older folks in our community, so expanding the services with Sundial, I know has really changed that for a lot of folks out here and changed public transportation, for the future of our Coachella Valley. And also want to commend you and your staff on your progress on expanding the hydrogen infrastructure here in our community. I think it's going to be extremely important for the future of clean energy for our region and for the whole state and country. So, and I know you guys are leading some of those efforts more so than you're one of the leading agencies of the nation in that sense. So we really appreciate your hard work, and thank you again.
Thank you.
At least, yes, thank you very much for everything that you're doing. For all the Sundial is terrific. I mean, you have quite a broad from, getting our kids to school to getting our seniors to doctor's appointments and everything in between. And you continually try to bridge and to meet those needs and meet those demands. You constantly are looking at your routes and ways to serve this public. It doesn't get any better than someone that is trying hard to serve in that manner. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. And I agree with the Mayor Pro Tem. Indio is number one, so we'll get out there. And so I expect everyone in this room, folks, you all got to go on SunLine website and you need to fill out that form because it's very important to our residents, to our immigrant residents, to our kids, to everyone, that we have the kind of transportation that SunLine provides and will continue to expand. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Excuse me, I didn't see you. Please.
Yeah, it's right.
Word on it.
Well, I greatly appreciate the service and not just obviously just being on the bus, but everything else that you do. One thing that's impressive is the staff that goes out there within the whole 365 days out of the year, not just your buses, but your other additional services, and then making sure the stops are clean and are kept clean. And I think the city has a direction on trying to make our city cleaner and better because of our growth. But the collaboration between your field staff and the staff that the city management has out there, pressure washing sidewalks and making sure it's clean, because we want those walking to the bus have that good experience. We really promote the My Indio app because it teaches people a way, just like we're taking advantage of the survey that we're doing. I think those collaborations go way beyond the expectations. But I can remember when the bus routes first started. I was in Coachella and walking with my friends at the time, and there was the bus. We rode the bus. It was a unique experience, never envisioning where we're at today. So thank you so much for your dedicated service, you and your team.
So just a little bit about the Department of Animal Services. We serve the entire unincorporated area of Riverside County, and we also service 15 contract cities. And as you can see on the map, the shelter facility that services your region is the Coachella Valley Animal Campus. It's circled in red. We have several divisions that operate under us. One of them is Field Services, which is the animal control officers that serve the residents of the city. Not only do they go out and pick up animals that are, running at large and whatnot, they're responsible for conducting, animal cruelty investigations and doing welfare checks, also helping constituents, doing emergency response whenever there's fires or floods or what have it that come to us. They're community driven, so they come out when people call. And just to give you guys an idea of what's happening in the city of Indio, so just from the starting fiscal year, July 1 to the end of December, we have responded to 969 calls in the city of Indio. 69 of those were in regards to aggressive animals, also 74 rabies control investigations, 78 potential cruelty cases, and then 119 injured animals, sick or injured animals. We also do animal sheltering for the city of Indio, and just to give you some data, during that same time period, fiscal year July 1 through December, We've taken in 647 animals just from the city of Indio. Most of those have come in as strays, but we've also taken in animals when owners needed help and needed to relinquish their pets, or confiscated 43 animals that were involved in cruelty type investigations. And then along with that, the good news is we also did 366 adoptions. We returned 100 of those stray animals back to their owners and transferred 69 of them to rescue partner groups. Just to give you an update on some of our life-saving programs that we're expanding on, we have a pet support program, so anybody that's in need of resources for their pets to help them keep their pets at home, we offer that at our shelter. Of course, we're always doing adoptions. Right now, all of our adoptions have been fee waived just to try and increase the number of animals that we can place in homes. We are going to be at the Date Festival doing fee waived adoptions there as well the whole time. So come on down and check out, the great animals that we're bringing for adoption. Also, if you can't commit to having an animal full-time, we offer fostering opportunities, including day trips where you can just take a dog out on a walk or take them home for a weekend and try them out. Also, animals in our shelter, we're doing all kinds of enrichment activities to keep them happy and healthy. Some of the other services that we provide is if you come down to one of our shelters, you can get a free pet ID tag. And also right now we're waiving fees for anyone that has lost their pet, so don't be in fear of any kind of fines or citations. Come on down, we want to reunite that pet with you. We're always looking for volunteers to come and help out our team. You can apply easily online. We're also expanding veterinary services at the Coachella Valley Animal Campus. So right now we have low-cost vaccination clinics happening every Wednesday and Thursday. You can make appointments for this online on our website, or we do accept walk-ins as well. And we're hoping to expand those to Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday coming up in February. We also offer trap, neuter, release surgeries for cats right now on Tuesdays. Just check availability on our website. And we are looking to expand public spay and neuter services there as well. So just keep posted on our website and whatnot.
I don't think they heard you. On
Just to
behalf
let-
of the mayor, we're going to be taking
Taking
a
a sh-
recess, please. Mayor.
You can't get out the doors, however. The doors are locked. Ah.
Get over some fresh air.
Dehydration.
Okay, we're going to continue the meeting and monitor that situation up there and make sure everything's okay and get whatever services we need to her. If you'd like to come back up and finish the presentation, sorry for that interruption.
So if you haven't heard, we've changed our hours for the shelter. So we are now open Tuesday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at our shelter facilities, closed Mondays. And we want to hear from you, so if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to reach out to myself or our director, Mary Martin, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Anybody have any questions with regards to, go ahead.
I was just going to say thank you. Obviously, this is what we asked for several months ago, and it's nice to see the progress that you and the team are doing, and I appreciate it. And I hope it continues to answer the concerns of how we TLC our animals in the valley, and specifically for the city of Indio.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I also want to say thank you for expanding those services, right? Waiving those fees for a lot of those services. I know it's going to be extremely helpful for getting those animals out of the door. For the 647 animals that you said it came from Indio that you took into the shelter, what animals are you seeing the most at the moment?
Mostly dogs and cats, and it's probably about half dogs and cats.
Okay. Is there any concentrations around the city that you're noticing or anything like that?
So interesting that you asked that. We just finished doing some heat mapping. So if you guys are interested, we'd love to set up, an appointment, and we can show you guys exactly where some of those hot spots are that these animals are coming from.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely would. We appreciate and thank you for listening and hearing us. We're very passionate about taking care of our animals and the services that you provide. And I've seen your trucks all around the city recently. It's good, a day and night. It's really great to see that you're out there and trying to help with our animal community. Any other comments? If not, thank you so much.
Thank you. And I know Jonathan had mentioned if you guys are interested in inviting us out to any community events or anything like that, please send us the invite and we're happy to attend.
Absolutely, yes. You are looking at a champion and ways to find ways to, opportunities to get some of these animals adopted. So appreciate that. We'll take you up on it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And now the fun part of the evening, Youth Advisory Council. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. My name is Javier Martinez, and I'm delighted to report that our youth council members have helped out with toy drives and giveaways these past few weeks at the Indio Community Center and Chavez Jessup GMC dealership. I'd also like to thank council member Benjamin Goodtron for attending our YAC meeting last Thursday at Ciro's, where we were very intrigued as he told us about his background growing up in India and sharing his lessons and opportunities here in the Valley. We even got to share with him a bit of ourselves and our own history and background here in India, all while we enjoyed some delicious pizza too. Finally, I'd like to report that some of our youth council members attended the Youth Town Hall Speaker Series at Esmeralda Resort, where they got to meet and listen to KT McFarland, a former U.S. Deputy National Security Advisor. They also got to enjoy some yummy dinner and dessert afterwards. That concludes our youth council report. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you. And we have our Youth Advisory Council team here. All right, thank you. You're hiding in the back. Well, you can come sit up front as well. In the future, always nice to see you. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for everything you do and volunteering. It's really quite wonderful. We appreciate you very much. All right, next item, item number 7, City Manager Reports and Information.
Thank you, Mayor. I think it's appropriate, as we have had at this point more than 200 different seismic events in the area, to remind our residents that in their homes they should secure any heavy items, from water heaters to other items that might be on shelves. We encourage every home to have an emergency kit for every person in the household that they could grab and run if necessary. A plan for the family is also important. And of course, as we've all memorized, drop, cover, and hold on. It would be very, very rare that you would want to leave a building in the event of a seismic event. You want to get underneath something as quickly as possible and hold on. I'm told that during the awake hours, most deaths are by people running out of buildings during a seismic event. So remember, please, to drop, cover, and hold on. Also, I wanted to just provide a brief update on some the major projects going on in the city. Here on the City Hall parcel, we do have some parking and other plaza work being done. We're looking at the end of March and April. There are some underground utilities and some work with the solar canopies and so forth to go in. So that's end of March, early April. The same timing looks to be for the clubhouse at the golf course, probably end of March, early April. Again, waiting on some utility infrastructure there that has hit a few hiccups, but we think will be done by that time. The Avenue 44 bridge, while there's so many components to it that may not be done until June, we're hoping to open for traffic over the next month or two. There are some inspections and some other requirements, and so it's hard to give an exact date, but we see light at the end of that tunnel. We know how important that arterial is to that part of the community. And finally, the sports park, which is essentially done, also awaiting some utility infrastructure, should be done sometime in April, and we'll be able to open that up, and certainly hopeful that Phase 2 will be funded, what will be open now and what is complete as Phase 1. These are great projects, as you all know, and just wanted to provide that update to the community that these things are coming up this spring, every one of these major projects. With that, Mayor, that's my report.
Thank you very much. Lots of great information. Definitely lots of things happening. Next item, item number 8, City Council Conflict of Interest Disclosure. I have a conflict of interest on consent calendar 11.8. Mayor Pro Tem will take that. Any other conflict of interest? I'm the only one. Okay, thank you. Item number 9, City Council Report on Meetings Attended per Government Code Section 53232.3D. Councilmember Glenn Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's been a busy month. Actually, quite a few things have gone on since our last council meeting. I'll highlight some of them. I know the rest of the council have been part of it also, but 2 committees that were active. One was our Coachella Valley Indio Waste Transfer Station. That's where we collect all our trash. Councilmember Ortiz, myself, are the members on that committee. We went ahead and agreed to purchase 16.31 acres from the County of Riverside to expand the service so that we could divide up the trash and make sure that it's being composted and utilized like it should. This gives us more opportunity as the City of Indio and the City of Coachella grow, and also the County of Riverside. The site needed to be bigger, and we got a great deal on that, purchasing of property from the County of Riverside for $520,000. So we're moving forward with the waste transfer station being bigger and being able to handle more of our waste. So that's a good opportunity for us. Evera, the East Valley Reclamation Authority that the mayor and I sit on, we're talking about recycled water. We're talking about opportunities to work with the tribe, the Cabazon Band of Cahuilla Indians, and provide them with recycled water. They look like they're going to get a $1.2 million grant that will be able to start the design work for the plant and also the piping and that. And we were also told, unfortunately, that a longtime resident, Bill Teague, who was the general manager and a board member for Valley Sanitation District for 67 years, passed away last week at 94. So we want to, if we could, adjourn the meeting in his honor. A longtime Indio resident, lived in Indian Palms, and very committed to this community. So very sad that he would pass on, but I guess his family and his friends were there by his bedside when he left, and he left peacefully. So our hats off to him for all the work he did. He'll always be remembered. We had the groundbreaking on Avenue 42 for our first substation to be able to provide more power for our community. Unfortunately, we're tapped out on power. The City of Indio had the wisdom to purchase the equipment and that to build 4 more substations that will keep us going forward. The first groundbreaking was on 42 with our partners IID, all the staff, and our city council was there to see this opportunity. Without that power coming in, the growth of this city would come to a grinding halt. So very thankful for that. A few ribbon cuttings, Macario's Grill and Bar. We had Boot Barn, the largest boot barn in the Inland Empire, opened up. A great opportunity if you haven't seen it, on North Indio, right where the old Party City was. So a great opportunity if you need some boots and merchandise. And then American Vision Windows, which is right there downtown. They are a large company that's employee-owned. It provides windows and shutters and doors that are solar radiant and sealed so that you keep saving energy on them. And like I said, it's employee owned, and it's a large warehouse out here. This is the first one they've done outside of the LA region. And then a couple others, Councilmember Ben Gutron and I did for the 18th year I did, and I think Ben, you're up in 14 years, the FM RV motor coaches. They go to the fairgrounds. There was over 500 of them there, a little over 1,000 people, and they have a theme every year, and we judge their parade as they go through. So great to see them come to the city of Indio. They want to work more with us. They're going to get with staff, and staff's going to work with them to provide other opportunities, maybe a golf tournament, doing other things downtown, maybe some at center stage. So it's great to see people from all over California come into the city of Indio and continue this tradition. And last but not least, the Martin Luther King Remembrance. I was able to attend that at the United Methodist Church to remember Martin Luther King and all he stood for. It was a great, speakers were present, and we were able to, probably about 200 people there, able to get together and from all over the Coachella Valley honor Martin Luther King. So with that, Madam Mayor, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Full schedule. Councilmember Ben Gutron.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, it was busy for a little bit, for at least visiting people. I did join, as Councilmember Glenn Miller mentioned, the FMC rally. It's interesting that at one time there was almost 2,000 of them that would show up into Indio, to the point that the fairgrounds would be filled and the city would have to use South Jackson Park for the overflow of campers, those that might remember that. They're full of energy. They're very glad of having their annual event in the city of Indio. They want to be proactive for next year, so I strongly ask the council's consideration to support that fact, because these people are coming from all over the country, and they're spending one good week here in Indio investing in our community. We described all kinds of events and whatnot that they participate in, and the fairgrounds themselves are trying to make it a more experience based on everything that's going on in our big city. It was nice that Jim Curtis took the time to talk to them. And so I'm hoping that we can maybe do something really nice for their continued support of our community, having the rally in Indio, California. The other thing that I am fortunate to report to you is to make everybody aware of the Coachella Valley Vector Control District is actively working with several partners in the Eastern Valley dealing with a tick issue. And all that information is available on their website or contacting the district. But the district's website would be cvdistrict.org, cvdistrict.org. The unique thing that a lot of people don't know is our district is all as well going to be in about 100 years, in a year and a half, is that it started out serving the issue dealing with gnats, and from then it went to mosquitoes. But now it's venturing and assisting with this tick issue with a lot of our representatives in the valley that care for animals, but also UC Davis is involved, sending a team of people out here to help analyze that. And a lot of other people that are wanting, and the reason being is where the dogs tend to shelter. They're not always inside their homes. They're outside and about, and it creates a bigger risk environment for what they're dealing with. So they're out there right now planning to do vaccinations and helping those families with their animals at home. The other thing that I have the privilege of saying to you is the 9 Valley cities and the 2 county representatives asked me to be president for this coming year. So I take that honorably and represent the city, but also the rest of the Coachella Valley in efforts, because it is part of health. It's a health and safety organization. Next thing was I did have a wonderful evening spending time with 19 of brilliant students from not just Indio High School, but Shadow Hills High, and obviously we have other schools that participate in the program. But the one thing I found very interesting that a lot of us probably don't see today, not one of them picked up their phone. Not one of them was texting. And I compliment for not just not doing that, but the quality of sitting down with your young adults or your youth has been this thing. And it's nice that they took the time, that we talked like any other group of people as young adults responsible, and showing the love and care and the pride they have for our city is outstanding ambassadors. And my hat's off to this group. And I really have to thank the lady that came forth in creating the Youth Advisory Council was former Councilwoman Jackie Bethel. She was the driving force of establishing something like this. I related that to him. But we should be proud that our parents and family members and friends that are supporting our youth in our community, if this is what we see, we should be very proud. And thank you, students, for taking that time. And thanks for not leaving any pizza. You did a really good job on that. And the last thing is another great pride in the momentum of our community in many ways. But it's nice to see another business, and I had the privilege of joining members of council and our honorable mayor at Boot Barn. And it's an interesting thing to see name brand businesses coming into our community. It's nothing new, it's happened before, but just the momentum is still there. And it helps our city bring in, obviously, a tax base to continue providing services. Because our number one goal as council members is making sure that our staff and our community has something to survive on. That is part of our most important job, which includes safety and everything else. But we can't do it without businesses being successful in Indio. So their success is our success. So we welcome Boot Barn. Thank you so much, and that will be my report.
Thank you. And congratulations on your being president of Vector Control.
Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to first take a few minutes to acknowledge the concerns of many of our residents, some who are here with us today, as we see the escalation of immigration enforcement throughout the city. I know sometimes we see things as black and white, either you came here legally or not, but I see this as a much more complex issue because of the human rights violations that are being committed to some of these families, both on our streets and inside of detention centers. ICE is not just targeting dangerous criminals in our community. One of our young women just graduated college, was simply walking out of her home when she was approached by masked, armed, unidentified agents demanding her ID. I think many of us are very protective of our women in our community, and seeing that kind of treatment and harassment of our women and our youth, I believe, can set us up for more backlash and potential violent interactions in our neighborhoods, which is really concerning to me. Another family in our community simply missed their mail due to an issue with their mailing address. They were taken in during their court hearing, and 2 days later were in a detention center in Texas, a mother and her 2 children. One of the children was part of our high school baseball team. When we look at the history of detention centers for the past 15 years, we've seen evidence of child abuse, sexual abuse of our women, a lack of proper medical attention, and a simple disregard for the lives of our family members. Not all detention centers are the same, but the general evidence is there that these are places with histories of human rights abuses against our community. Our families don't deserve to be in detention centers regardless of their immigration status. If immigrants have a criminal past, I say put them through the proper legal system, the criminal justice system, just like anyone else, with the right protections and due process. So I do see the need for us to continue to act and advocate for our community during these times. I would like to thank the chief and his staff for doing their best to make it clear that anyone can still call our police for help without worrying about immigration status. Our police have also offered to share immigration resources from TODEC with our community members who may need that legal support. As a council, we filed the Freedom of Information Act request to request immigration enforcement data from the Department of Homeland Security, one of the first in the nation, and we're currently waiting to hear back on that request. On my end, I've also been doing my best to share education and resources through my networks and answering requests for resources from our local residents. One additional request I have for our council tonight is if we can direct staff to work with TODEC to make sure we're making our city-owned spaces available to them for workshops, meetings, or gatherings regarding immigration issues in our community. The organizers at TODEC are my trusted source for education and resources on these matters, and I would like to see us offer them some more help in that sense so we can assist in getting resources out to our community. I'm also open to other suggestions from our community members on how we can help, but at this time I would like to ask our council for support to direct city staff to work with TODEC so that we can make city spaces available to them if they need a host for their events within the city of Indio.
So your thoughts, so in other words, what you're asking for is or one of the conference rooms or something?
Yeah, I know they have different workshops coming up and they might need spaces from time to time. So if they're able to use, for example, this room that we just paid millions of dollars for, and we have a really urgent issue here in our community, if they need a space that's this big, we can make it available to them.
I think there's likely certain spaces we can consider. What are council's thoughts?
There we go. I think, I mean, it's been part of the discussion already that we should have a space for the community to be able to utilize. I think this is just a topic now, but I think we need to move forward to having a space to where, whether it's like a workforce or access to internet, we have our library who has an open room. So I think we just need to come up with a space where anyone can utilize it if they need to, do some public work, because what Todak is doing is work for our community. And so I think maybe the staff could look at some spaces or something in an area where we could allow people to utilize.
Johns?
My feeling is that it needs to be evaluated by staff, so it's managed and available, but they are the ones that manage the facilities. They need to come back with whatever that might be.
I concur with Councilmember Gutron that let staff decide where they can use it and how to utilize it, and work with staff on a place that's appropriate for them and how often. But I agree with Wayman also, it should be for all the community.
Right.
Just not that the spaces are for community spaces.
Mayor, if I may, remember that they're going to be converting our former council chambers.
Exactly.
So it's not what about today, right now, but even through the future.
Yeah.
We are converting our old council chambers to be a facility that will be open. I don't know the dynamics, but I know that we're working on it. And the library will also be taking advantage of that as well. So the opportunity will be there, but it's kind of like, it's a progress in motion. It's not one of those wish lists. It's actually, I think we've already invested quite a bit of money that the current contractors will be doing that. So there will be something there.
Yeah, I think I'm looking a little bit more urgently because we have workshops needed, this month, February, right? There's things coming up, and they're going to have to spend their resources that they could use for legal support on renting hotel space, right? For an event that's this big. And so if they need those larger spaces, can we prioritize them for resources from the city so that they can use these spaces that we have available now for those workshops and events?
I think we talked about having that community space, but I think the best way to do that is to work towards staff to find the space, the appropriate space to help whomever wants to utilize the facilities, the old council chambers, the library, whatever the case may be. City manager, any comments?
Yeah, none of our current policies that you've adopted would preclude that use. It would just be a scheduling issue, and as a nonprofit, they're eligible for free use during staff time hours. If it's after hours, we do have a fee, but we could work through what their timing is and what their needs are by way of space. It is correct that the former council chambers here in the next couple of months will be available community-wide for these type of meetings. Restrooms are there, AV is there, probably seats 100 and something people as we get that all worked out. So it's a pretty good space. We have the former EOC area as well that we've met in the past, the senior center. So there are plenty of options. And again, none of the policies we have that I'm aware of would ever preclude their use.
Okay.
Good.
Sounds
Okay,
good.
thank you.
Just want to report on two meetings that I had. I had a meeting with the Inland Regional Energy Network. We're coming up with our application for the 2028-2035 business plan. These are energy efficiency funds that are coming from our public utilities, and we are looking at scaling up. We just went through our first couple of years, and our budget was $10 million a year. We're now applying for $22 million per year of that state funding to implement more energy efficiency through workforce and a lot of public infrastructure and energy efficiency methods for our cities. The other one was the waste transfer station that Mr. Miller mentioned. We just moved forward with the purchase of land for expansion for that transfer station. The current site is 17,000 square feet and handles up to 750 tons per day, most of that coming from the eastern Coachella Valley. The new site will be 40,000 square feet, so more than double, and can handle up to 2,500 tons per day. So that'll set us up well for the future. I also toured their compost facility there. It was 120 rows, large rows of compost that they have out there. They process about between 300 and 750 tons per day, depending on the time of year. And they're also using a lot of gray water and recycled grease from our community to increase the moisture and get the moisture levels right for those compost piles to provide that service. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I attended the ribbon cutting at the new boot barn location here in Indio. Great addition that brings new jobs expands shopping options, and strengthens our local economy. And we also celebrated the ribbon cutting at Macadio's Bar and Grill on High 111. Macadio's has been a historic restaurant in our community for over 40 years, and it's great to see their legacy continue in their new location, adding to Indio's culture and dining options. We also held a groundbreaking with our Imperial Irrigation District partners for the new Avenue 42 substation. I want to thank the community because believing in our decision to move forward with the JPA, with the IID, because of that partnership, we're moving forward with critical power infrastructure projects, and this one being the first. This substation will support long-term growth, reliability, serving schools, housing, places of worship, restaurants, and future development. So thank you to the community for believing in us making that decision. I also attended the 2026 Sandstorm Lacrosse Festival at Empire Polo Club. Very fun event, and hopefully next year you all can attend as well. It's one of the largest lacrosse tournaments in the world. And believe me, I don't know nothing about lacrosse, but it was pretty fun watching. It draws over 550 teams from across the U.S. and Canada. And events like this bring thousands of visitors to Indio and provides major boost to our local businesses and hospitality. And I look forward to continue to building on this opportunity. And that speaks to what was mentioned earlier by Councilmember Catron about the RV event. I think looking at these events moving forward, just like our festivals, we have to continue to capitalize on them, collaborating with those organizers to do more activities around the town. So another great event for our city was the Lacrosse Festival. And this morning I had a homelessness committee. It was held at the Coachella Valley Minnow facility here in Indio, the behavioral health facility here in Indio. During that meeting, we received an update from the CV200 initiative, which is a valley-wide effort to focus on housing for over 200 of our most chronically homeless individuals in the valley and connecting them with wraparound services, and it helps to stabilize and improve their lives. We also heard a presentation from a representative from Sacramento on the state's housing designation process. And the city of Indio was highlighted as as the only city in the Coachella Valley to earn that designation. And that's a reflection of our leadership and focusing on our housing. So I thank the council and thank our staff for working hard on that designation. And this was because this positions Indio for priority access to state funding and technical assistance to accelerate affordable and workforce housing projects. And finally, I would invite everyone to mark their calendars on February 7th when the City of Indio hosts its third annual Black History celebration event at the center stage here in downtown Indio. There will be food trucks, great music, entertainment, local high school students, churches, panel discussions, and local vendors. We look close to having that event and ending it with the second Saturday celebration with live music from the ENJ movement. And they play classic soul and R&B music. And we look forward to seeing everyone celebrate African-American history, culture, national history, and also local history, which is a perfect segue to our local history in the city of Indio. I too want to add someone to our list of honoring them at the end of the meeting. We lost a matriarch in our city, Miss Mary Alice Hearn. She was 97 years old, and she lived in our community. And she worked in the healthcare for 30 years, and she worked in hospitality for another 30. And she lived in our city for 97 years, raising children, grandchildren, and opened her doors to many of us in the neighborhood. So I like to also recognize her at the end of the meeting. And that concludes my report, Mayor.
Active council here. So many of the similar things, excited about Avenue 42 substation. There will be several more coming online in the not too distant future. That just represents energy and life and progress here in the city of Indio. Ribbon cuttings, Macario is always a great place. Been around ever since I've been here, and I know they were here long before that. Boot Barn, excellent organization and great again for jobs and a wonderful selection there. Family Motor Coach. I remember coming here 20 years ago, and at the time we had just purchased a business that was right there on Arabia, right across the street, and they would just by the thousands, it felt like, stream in, and They have just evolved and grown, and their focus and vision was always, let's support local. So they always found a way to eat at the local restaurants and shop locally. And now that we have even more businesses, it's really great that they come and have a good time. They choose Indio to have a good time and to support the local economy. Just a couple of other things. First of all, the Coachella Valley Conservation Commission. Just a couple of brief comments on the budget this year. We have an increase of $5.6 million, and that's primarily due to the revenue from the tipping fees. There was an issue, and I won't elaborate on that, but a lot of those dollars were part of the $5.6 million increase, which is about a little over 4%. The biggest challenge we're having right now, and I know that some of you remember for Avenue 44, that bridge, right? We had an issue with a burrowing owl, and we were all very concerned about that. We all love our burrowing owls. Well, and for those of you that have been around for a while, remember the MSHCP, Multiple Species, the Habitat Program. And it encompasses, things that need to be considered in the development process. Well, unfortunately, the State Department of Fish and Game, they want to put the burrowing owl on the endangered species list. And that is a challenge to us because that's a huge challenge to development. Now, the desert, and what we're asking them to do, and we have lobbyists, we've done a whole lot of outreach and tagging and whatnot, is to say, look at region by region, because we've been very careful here in the desert, and there's a huge population of burrowing owls, and we don't feel that putting them on the endangered species list beyond what they are on the MSHCP is good for our community, our greater, not just Indio, but our desert. Again, it will severely affect development, and so that's something that we're working through at this point. Couple of other things. Attended the Desert Valley Builders Association lunch. Our city manager was all there talking about Indio. Everybody wants to know what we're doing in Indio, what's coming next, and how we're doing it. So it's nice to be part of this Coachella Valley and be able to talk about all the different things that we're doing, enhancing our community, making it a better place for our residents and our successful businesses. So that was a fun lunch. Let's see, what else do I have here? Something I wanted to bring up. So over the Christmas holidays, I was around, as everybody knows, I work here, and I was looking at the old city hall being torn down. And in one moment, it was a function of, being happy for the progress in this beautiful building and very thankful to be in this building. And thank you to all of the city of Indio for supporting that or being a part of that. But the other side of me wondered, gosh, that other building was at least 50 years old. And I know that there were buildings before that. How neat would it be to find some manner to recognize, right? Because in 50 years, look at where we were and where we are. How many plans have gone through that old building? What was built? The community, how has it grown? How has it changed? How has it evolved? And even before that. And so I mentioned it to our city manager, and I said, what can we do? Well, they're always 10 steps ahead of the game, and they had talked about already what they can do, putting some kind of a monument to recognize the past city halls from the first city hall, which I believe, as you mentioned, was on Indio Boulevard and why can't I think of the name of that street? Smir? So that was likely our first. And we used to have our council meetings at the courthouse back in the day. And just to do a little bit of research, I know staff probably has all that information. I know that the museum has a new archivist, and so they can look at back newspaper articles and whatnot. But just not to forget how we've traveled, how far we've come, and to look forward into the future. So I wanted to see how the rest of council felt about that, and give some level of direction to staff in terms of being able to create something that recognized the last 100 years, just about, for the city of Indio. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, thank you. You
Would
good?
it be coming out of like the public arts funds, or what are you thinking?
I want to leave that up to staff.
Probably from the project funds here, I think could be used. That'd be your discretion, but it wouldn't necessarily be the art funds. We'd probably reserve those for more traditional art. The thought there, as the mayor was indicating, would perhaps be some sort of monumentation. There was a great presentation for Dr. Roger Harris out in front on our flagpole that has the QR code. So this idea of having some sort of plaque, it may not be very large, but a mechanism to find out more. What is the history of that location? And maybe we can make an estimate of how many plan sets went through, how many employees worked in the building, but that would all be on the website rather than the plaque itself. So perhaps we could, with that consensus, we can bring back a few ideas, and if it turns more artistic, then perhaps it would be an art piece.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much for that, team. And then one last thing I wanted to bring to your attention, and we do have a request to speak for this item. The business spotlight that we're doing, IBC Impact. So what we're really trying to do here in the city of Indio is welcome businesses and give them the tools and the resources to help them be successful, to help them learn what they need to learn, to do ribbon cuttings. There's lots of things, and I wanted to bring that to everyone's attention and beyond. If you know of any business that is new, that or not and hasn't had a ribbon cutting, let us know. We like to do a business spotlight and highlight that person on our website. So let us know about ribbon cuttings. Recently, we talked about Macario's and Boot Barn, ANC Administration, Saguaro Coffee. Those are just a few of our recent ribbon cuttings. We also have different programs, or we have access to programs. So we let people know, for instance, there's a Shop Small Grants program. There's information for SBA. There's so much information. When you're a small business, the world is daunting, and you need all kinds of tools, and you need all kinds of direction. And I applaud the city for all of us for embracing our local business community. There's different programs out there. There's also the Coachella Valley Women's Business Center. We also do a mini MBA program, a finance program, just so many things that we do. Let the community know that these things are available. It's huge. It will help our business community thrive. And we just, for those of you that are on the website, take a look at the Indio Business Connect Center. It's a resource center that we're going to be, or in the process of putting together. And there'll be different pieces of information, educational series, just things that will help our business owners of all sizes in our business community. So thank you, Council, for embracing that. Thank you, City, for all the things that you do to try to ensure the success and prosperity of our city and our local businesses. And I do have a request to speak, Jonathan Becerra, on topic number 9. No, yes?
What is that on?
It says topic 9. Item 9. Okay. Thank
Good evening, Council. Appreciate your time today. As I'm hearing you, I just had maybe an opportunity to speak about the subject matter of the title here. I just want maybe consider that when we do these kind of reports, that they take into consideration current events and people's time and energy and the ability for them to get back to their families in a timely manner. You know, a lot of people who come to these city companies to hear your business are doing so on their own time, not being paid, and some of them have to walk back across Jackson Street after this. So I think in the future, maybe we'll some consideration in all agenda items to consider the time of people who may show up. I think you guys, what you do is great. I think telling the people that you're doing your business is good. I think we should all consider, though, some people aren't as able and are close to. But I think that's what I would speak to that general subject matter. Thank you, guys.
is muted. I'm going to get used to the system eventually. Appointments, item 10. Then we have 3 appointments to make, and the first one is appointment of delegate and alternate for 2026 SCAG Annual General Assembly. Who would like to attend? Who would like to be the delegate and the alternate? Any takers? Wayman's always there.
Wayman and Oscar.
Wayman and
I
Oscar.
recommend.
All right, everybody good with Wayman and Oscar being the delegates for SCAG?
Concur.
Thank you guys for stepping up. Appreciate it. Let us know. Next, appointment, item 10.2, appointment of Michael Slater to the Planning Commission, nominated by you, Councilmember Oscar Ortiz.
I don't think he was able to make it today.
Okay, to speak, okay.
But yes, I would like to appoint him. He's been serving as my Community Services Commissioner. He has some time working with Desert Rec as well as working with our county, and so He's very well connected in our community. He knows the needs of our residents out here, and I think he's going to be a great planning commissioner. Thank you.
Is everybody, we have a motion to approve or consensus?
You're making that motion, Oscar?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
I have a motion by Councilmember Oscar Ortiz, a second by Councilmember Glenn Miller. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, I guess. We're not, okay.
Got a
All right, we're still
consensus?
figuring this out. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Mayor. And just, to confirm on the previous item, all consensus, 5-0. Thank you.
All right. And item number 10.3, nomination of Rick Weiss to the Palm Springs International Airport Commission. Rick Weiss is here. He's been on this commission for a few years, at least. Why don't you come on up, Rick, and tell us a little bit about what you do on the commission? And why you're interested in being nominated again.
The commission is consisted of, I think, 18 members. 9 of them are from the city of Palm Springs, and then each city in the valley gets one representative, and the county of Riverside gets one. I've been on there for 3 years now, and the big thing we've been doing is the 20-year plan, and I think we presented to the city of Indio via a Zoom call the plans for the 20-year expansion of Palm Springs Airport. It's very rewarding, and I'd like to serve another 3 years.
To nominate, renominate, I guess, Rick Weiss to the Palm Springs International Airport Commission?
I'll second.
And
But-
thank you, Mr. Wise, for your service on there.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Thank
you.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We're good? Okay. And item number 11, consent calendar. Does anybody want to pull anything? Okay. Go right ahead.
So, in looking at the staff report, and this is because it was brought up to me, so I apologize, staff, for not telling you prior. That's not a customary. But I had a concern that was brought to me before I came on the dais, is that the funds that we need, obviously, to reallocate, and the areas that we're looking at, is the skate park was a concern. And again, I'm doing this for the person that asked of it, and how does this affect, how soon will we go back to fulfilling? So it's the skate park in Mouse Park, the Jackie Cochran Dog Park, and it is listed the John Nobles. So I just want to assure the public what we're going to be doing.
It's a great question, Mayor. Each one of those has more appropriations than what's proposed to take from them, and every one of those is not yet ripe for action. So the thought there is those are available appropriated funds. With your discretion and approval, we could, let's call it, temporarily take those appropriated funds because they're available and they will not be used in the very near future. But you have 2 opportunities, one at the mid-year budget as well as the new budget coming up, to either restore those funds back to where they need to be from general fund balance or other Measure X sources, or not. For example, the skate park, there is a program location within Phase 2 of the sports complex. If we receive that grant, which we should hear fairly soon, within a month or so, then you may not need to reappropriate those funds. We are negotiating with the Hagen Company behind the mall, and we know that we want some sort of monumentation and park element that's still yet to be determined, and there is $600,000 set aside for that. This recommendation, you'll have to remind me if it's in front of you, but it's for about $100,000. So there would still be $500,000 there. But again, if you wanted to add to that or replace back to the skate park, you have an opportunity to do that. These are just a little easier to borrow from, if you so to speak, until you can reconsider those in the future.
So in the most layman terms, we're going to borrow from A and put it back in numbers once we have the funding. Unless we need it sooner, then we'll make accommodation.
Exactly.
So it doesn't kill the projects.
Not at all. Every one of those still has, for example, the skate park has $1 million in it, and again, 130, I think, is what's coming from the skate park in this proposal.
And again, I'm just bringing it for open
great
comment,
question.
so those that had an interest that contacted me can hear that that's the intent of our actions.
Exactly.
All right, thank you so much for making that effort. That is it for me.
Okay, yes, of course.
Brian, on the skate park and that, are we running all this by the community service? I mean, I know we're talking about it's not right, but we're talking about putting a skate park, which we've always talked about doing in Miles where the old building was, which would make a good thing. Now we're talking about moving it over. Are we keeping them abreast of what's going on and taking money from those accounts without, I think, talking to them? I know we're the people that do it, but we're tasking them with the opportunity to run the parks. And if we're not giving them those tools, then really it's just us making decisions. I don't feel good about that.
Yeah, I do know the discussion has been with them, both at Miles and all of the master planning that took place at the sports complex. So whether or not they know exactly if this proposal to temporarily, at your choice, take some of the resources and put it towards the sports park itself, phase one, that specific discussion probably did not take place. But they are aware of the skate park options, and those are still up to you, obviously. If we get a little funding from the state, that might be nice, but that doesn't mean there couldn't be one at Miles as well as at the sports complex. All that's up to you, but knowing that the funds are appropriated, but those projects aren't ready, we're not taking anything away from them in the long term, because you have an opportunity through a budget process to reappropriate, which really is just about $100,000 from each of those. Each of them have plenty of money still left for planning or anything else you direct us to do.
Yeah, and I don't think it's that detailed. I'm not worried about the funding of it. But the thing is, why isn't the skate park ready? It's kind of what I get to, is because there's nothing stopping us from knocking. There's nothing in that building. There's no reason not to knock it down. I just want to make sure they're on board with what we're doing to be able to move forward with that. Either way, we need to knock that building down, and Miles Park needs to have some more money invested in it. More than likely a parking lot on the other side next to the street, and then realign those soccer parks, because the kids are out there on a continual basis. But even then, we need parking because it's not safe a lot of times to park there. So if we're not going to put the skate park in that back area, I'd like to look at, turning that into a parking lot where people could park safely and kind of light it up so we'd have more events there. But that Miles Park is definitely something we need to work on. The major park, the sports park we have, that's gonna get done. It's gonna be a beautiful park. But Miles, then where it sits, I think needs some TLC. I think we need to put some more effort into that.
This on the budget discussion for sure.
Perfect.
Or study session, okay.
And Mayor,
hang on one sec.
Mayor,
Go after
okay.
Councilmember.
Mayor, if I can, City Manager, and this area falls in District 2, which is the district I represent. So I'd like to get this on the calendar, at least for a town hall or some community event where we could give the community an update, and also a forum where they could come out and speak. Like when we planned the sports park, we had a lot of workshops online and on site. And I think just doing that again for phase 2, I think is important as well. So
I think my comment was going to be, and I appreciate Councilman Wayman, who just brought up with Mayor Pro Tem and both of you. We have 2 commissions, and I know I've mentioned this before. The Arts Commission and the Community Service Commission, their whole purpose is to represent our community and give us another body to give input to this body. But if we're not taking advantage of them, then what are we doing? Why even have them? Anything dealing public places, we need the community services to give input. They're out there. I also expect the Youth Advisory Council to do the same thing, since it's a sports park. Their energy's there. It doesn't waive our direction, but it gives us the opportunity for our public to come and talk to us and say, I would like this to see this. I would like to see that. And I know it's sometimes challenging for staff because it takes extra time, but if we're not going to invest in our residents to give word, to give us direction and support, then what are we doing? So I think we need to take advantage of our Arts Commission, the Community Services Commission, because those are, of all the commissions, are key point besides the Planning Commission and the other commissions that we have. And I thank both council members for bringing that up. Thank you.
What if we had a yearly, every 6 months, update from each of the commissions on what they're working on, and give them the opportunity as well to ask us questions? Maybe the joint meeting, that sort of level of communication, maybe once or twice a year might help facilitate this, perhaps. We can put that together.
Certainly, a point well taken. Just to remind, on the sports park, it was a very elaborate.
Yeah.
So doesn't mean that can't change, but phase
We're on
one's
this, right.
done. Some things might be hard to change, depending on this grant, but a good discussion of reminding them what they asked for before. There is a great master plan at Miles Avenue Park as well that went through the commission that could be reevaluated as well, to the point you're making.
You know, sometimes there's such a long time between when all of this happens, because I remember attending some of the community events and when it actually, you know, starts coming out of the ground, perhaps there's
Forget,
benefit to
yeah.
that. Okay, so any other comments or anything else anybody else wants to pull? If not, I have to abstain on 11.8, but if I hear a motion on consent calendar 11.1 to 11.7 and 11.9 to 11.13.
I'll make a motion to pass consent calendar excluding 11.8.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem, a second by Councilmember Ben Gutron. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. And I'll leave the next piece up to you.
And being that the mayor has to exclude herself from 11.8, I'll entertain a motion for item 11.8.
I'll make that motion.
One motion by Councilmember Ortiz, second Councilmember Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Abstentions? Item passes.
Good, all right. That's always a little challenging there.
Could I
Yeah.
suggest we could move the public comments up on the agenda? Just a suggestion, just because I know it's an hour and a half into the meeting and we have a lot of people that have to, you know, get back to their families.
Well, what do you guys think? I think I'm okay with that. All right, let's go ahead and do that. And I have the, thank you. Thank you for your patience. I know some people have left, but thank you for sticking around. Thank you for your passion for what you're speaking to. Let's take with the ice ones. Let's start with these first. I will, thank you so much. I would like to start this conversation with a comment, because I think it's very important to our community, as everyone is. The City of Indio and our police department, we are absolutely committed to ensuring the safety and security of all members of our community, regardless of immigration status. And I think that's important to say and mention and to know. In accordance, you know, with California law, we don't enforce federal immigration laws, but any cooperation is conducted within a legal framework. And so that's a whole lot of words. It says we do what we need to do because we have to do, but we support our local community. We are dedicated to ensuring a safe and respectful community for all. Our regulations, we do not involve civil immigration enforcement. I feel for someone who is afraid to walk out of the house, take their kid to school, go shopping, fear should not be a part of our community at all, by any means. And so based on the comments I have and the request for speak, I'm going to call you up one by one. Everyone here at any time, for any reason, gets 3 minutes to speak, whether it's tonight or any other night or any topic. So I ask that you abide by that 3 minutes. I will ask our city clerk to help keep us on track. And I will call the first person up, Gabriel Armenta. Is she still here? There she is, terrific.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and community members. First, I want to start by saying thank you, Mayor Elaine, for addressing our concerns and for taking the time to address especially this terrible moment that a lot of people in my community are going through. My name is Gabriela Armentas. I am a longtime resident of the city of Indio, a community organizer, activist, and culture bearer. Through my work and in collaboration with many local organizations on the front lines, I have seen firsthand the fear and trauma caused by these recent ICE raids. These raids are not only targeting individuals accused of crimes, they are targeting people of color, including residents and even citizens, using aggressive tactics such as detaining individuals first and asking questions later, often without due process. Our families are experiencing harassment, intimidation, and uncertainty at alarming levels. Many of our residents are afraid to go to work. I can speak on behalf of many of the people in the community who have approached us through our Talking Indigenous circles, sharing their stories of not wanting to go to work, not wanting to send their children to school, and not having enough funds to get food on their plates. Families are living in constant state of fear, fear of separation, fear of losing stability, and fear that their city will not stand with them. We need our local government to help restore trust, ensure every resident, regardless of immigration status, feels seen, heard, understood, and protected. Tonight, I'm asking the council to take concrete steps. One, affirm the city's commitment to protecting immigrant families by clearly communicating residents' rights during ICE activity and ensuring that no city resources are used to assist in immigration enforcement. Two, expand community safety and wellness resources, including culturally rooted healing spaces, legal rights workshops, trauma-informed support, and safe reporting options. Our community is resilient, but resilience requires support. Fear cannot be allowed to shape daily life in Indio. I urge you to stand not only in solidarity, but in action, so every family in our city knows they are valued, protected, and not alone.
It is, and yeah,
Can you hear me?
we're good.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yeah, we need to. Volume thing, don't, we're trying to. It's not working either, it sounds like. Wait a minute,
testing,
there you
testing.
go.
There.
Ah, the
Thank you
voice
so
from
much.
above. Okay, go right ahead. And we are restarting the time.
Thank you for restarting my
You
time.
bet, absolutely.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, city manager, everyone, community. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Claudia Armenta, and I am a resident here of the city of Indio. I am also a part of Danzas de Casitlatonag. We are an indigenous-based nonprofit organization. I also work in the legal field. But aside from that, I am also a testimony of what it's like to be detained by ICE, as well as being illegally strip searched by ICE. So I am a testimony of what it's like, what it feels like, the trauma, and what also helped me be able to navigate through that situation. Unfortunately, many community members are not aware of their rights. Many community members are afraid of what to do when they encounter that situation. Even individuals that are US citizens, that are put in that situation are afraid because of everything that is going on. I have friends that are US citizens, that are students, that they were just simply walking to school or back, and they are stopped by ICE. What helped them was the fact that they knew what their rights were. So it is very important for community members to be aware of what their rights are. I am here today to ask the city of Indio that we do need more education on rights, whether that's civil, immigration, you name it at this point. We also need the support of the city. We need the city of Indio to be a sanctuary city, just like how other cities here in the Coachella Valley are, that are here to advocate as well for the community. So today I ask you, please, City of Indio, make the City of Indio a sanctuary city. Thank you.
Okay, next request to speak, Daryl Bellows. Daryl Bellows. It's coming. Okay, we'll wait.
I'm addressing the council today to call for the immediate resignation of Mayor Elaine Holmes, Councilman Glenn Miller, and Indio Police Chief Bryan Tully. The Coachella Valley is a deeply racialized space that colorizes poverty. Since June 2025, DHS has executed their intent to target all Latinos, US citizens or not, who work low-wage jobs. Indio is a sanctuary city with 68% of our residents identifying as Hispanic Latino. Our city has by far the largest Hispanic Latino population in the valley, my wife included. Since legal status and class are political inventions and not phenotypes, not visible, that means 68% of our residents are in grave danger of unlawful detainment at the hands of rogue federal agents in this current political climate. November 4th, 2025, ICE has abducted a detainee at a Larson Justice Center immigration hearing, caused a detainee to crash a vehicle into an Indio family home with his 3 children in the back seat, and allowed a detainee to die in their custody at JFK Hospital. All of this took place on Indio streets. Bryan Tully, chief of a police department funded by Indio taxpayers and millions of dollars in annual mellow roofs, asked private citizens in mid-December to self-monitor our neighborhoods for unlawful immigration enforcement as ICE raids escalated. How can a police chief with our community, our commitment printed on his squad cars, expect a majority Hispanic Latino community to police rogue federal agents while he sits passively at his desk? This begs the question, who is the Indio Police Department protecting if they're not protecting us? On December 3rd, Mayor Elaine Holmes and Mayor Pro Tempore Glenn Miller voted no on Oscar Ortiz's motion for DHS transparency about detainments in Indio. Dissent on that motion in our current political climate is an unforgivable betrayal. Even as other municipal leaders have declared ICE unwelcome in their cities, our top 2 council members remain silently complicit with state-sanctioned violence. Mayor Elaine Holmes, Councilman Glenn Miller, and Chief Bryan Tully have demonstrated through their actions and inaction that they're unwilling and unable to protect the people of Indio. It's time for them to step down and end their disservice to our community. Thank you.
We really do maintain the decorum of these council chambers. I ask that of you, please. Next request to speak, Denise Sahagan. Denise? Sahagan.
Denise Sagoon, and I moved to Indio 3 years ago, and I have seen it change, and it's even more beautiful than when we first got here. And you guys have spent a lot of time making this place a place where people want to move and do business. And I think it's really important that as a community, we are standing behind our people of color in this community. I say that as somebody who probably is not going to get pulled over because I'm not Latino. I have a Latino last name. So this is a fight for me too, and my family. And I think it's important that having a detention center, that we know what's happening in there. Mr. Ortiz has already said what is happening across the country, but this is happening in our city. And I think if you're going to spend the money to make it beautiful and a great place to live, let's make it a great place to live for everyone. And it's important that these people be heard and that they are stood behind by all of us. Because if we're not doing the work for the greater good, what are we doing? And when we know better, we do better, so let's do better. And let these people, if you want to be heard, raise your hands. Exactly, this is what we need. And I thank you for your time.
Roxanne Fernandez.
Can I, okay. Thank you, Mayor Holmes and Pro Tem Mayor Furman and council members. My name is Roxanne Fernandez. I have lived in the city of Indio since 2007. I've seen lots of changes here, and they've been very, very good changes. And I know that's related to the leadership of this town. So I actually I did not plan to speak here, but I couldn't pass up an opportunity to actually be able to have you hear this. If you notice, I'm wearing a Minnesota t-shirt. I worked for over a decade in the neighborhood where Renee Good was killed. I'm not going to speak to cruelty and brutality because we're all well aware of that, but maybe not so aware of what happens in neighborhoods and in cities where you have this kind of disruption from ICE. Families are disrupted. We all know that. Schools are viewed as unsafe. And in Minneapolis, they literally close the schools intermittently because they have to. They feel they have to. People are arrested when they go in with their immigration documents. Nothing feels safe. So then what happens? Kids don't go to school. People don't go to work. Small businesses close. I look down at what we have done here in the town center to develop a town center like that. This is remarkable. It's almost like somebody should be taking history notes on this for other towns that want to move their towns forward. But what happens if those businesses close because their workers don't show up? Now, I wish that I could say that, you know, the march today, oh, we're at the end of this. It's gotten so bad in other places. People will wake up and it will change. I don't think it's going to change. I think it's going to get worse. And if it gets worse, where do you stand? Now, Minneapolis, many people believe, is a sanctuary city, but it is not. It is not a sanctuary city. It never declared, ever. But the leadership in that town was so welcoming to immigrants and so interested in equality for all of its citizens, its members, its residents, that I think people got that idea. I don't necessarily think you have to go out and declare yourself a sanctuary city, even though I know most people in this room would love it, and I would love it too. I think sometimes it puts a target on you. It may not be worth it. But what I do want to say to you is when people get hurt in your city, When you see something that is wrong in your city, we would like you to speak out. Just say something. I was a hospital administrator for almost 30 years. And before that, my training was in nursing. And I'm going to tell you, as a hospital administrator, even as a nurse, you are confronted with so many conflicting, and you see both sides of the coin, and you want to try to make it right. One thing was always at the forefront for me. I did what was right for the patient, even in a big hospital. Do what's right for the members of this community, please.
Next is Yasmin Espinosa.
Mayor, council people. First of all, I want to thank you, Oscar, for putting a post out and letting us know information about immigration and what to do and to be supportive of TODAC. Yes, we agree there must be some kind of public place where we can go for TODAC. It's needed very much in the community. I am one of those people in the morning, and I track ICE. I'm up at 6 in the morning, I'm tracking ICE, and I'm telling you where they're at and what they're doing. And I'm experiencing fear on a level I have never seen, that I even had to purchase pepper spray. It's unbelievable. I'm seeing 13-year-old and 11-year-old kids riding with their parents to work. And I even got the experience of watching one of them get pulled over on Dinah Shore, and they're arresting his father. They're kidnapping his father. And the kid is crying. He doesn't know how to drive the vehicle. He can only dial 911. It's crazy what's going on out there. And I think it's unbelievable that this city council is not stepping up and doing more. You have flashing lights that tell you that you're gonna detour on a road or something. Why aren't you saying ICE is out there? People are walking around with passports, some kind of identification, because you don't know if you're gonna be stopped. This is incredible what's happening, and it's historical. I denounce Trump. I denounce what's happening in our communities and in our country. I think it's shameful. I think it's horrible. And you need to experience what's going on in real time in your valley. And you need to be supportive of people like Oscars that are standing up and telling you the right direction to go to for this community. Coachella Valley is under attack, and you're not doing a damn thing about it. And you need to wake up. To be using foul language, but my God, you really need to wake up. It's not on TV, it's here. It's every day here. I'm a person that sees something, say something. And I am here for those that couldn't be here today because they were too scared to show up at a protest or to walk over here. It's unfortunate that we have come to this, and on January 30th, when Congress takes a vote to defund ICE, and I hope they defund ICE, because this is horrible, horrible, and make it in a public record so you understand how horrible this is in our community. We're watching Nazis on our soil. My father's a veteran, and his 7 brothers did not fight for this on our country's soil. I'm ashamed of our country at this point, and I put it on record. Thank you.
Comments? Next person, and I apologize if I don't pronounce this correctly, Carabelle Laura? Carabelle? You gotta pick up your mic.
To the
That's
left.
it, yeah. There you go.
You're right.
There you go.
There you go. Awesome. Sorry, I wasn't planning on coming here. I just went to the protest. But let me start off by introducing myself. Good evening, council members. My name is Carrie Bell. I'm a resident of Indio, actress, influencer, and activist. I'm here to urge you to take steps towards making Indio a sanctuary city. Public safety is strongest when residents trust local government and law enforcement. When families live in fear of deportation for simply existing, crime goes unreported, children suffering, and our community is less safe. All of us have access to the internet, and we can weekly see all these illegal ICE raids happening in the city, which is a huge violations to our rights. India should be a city where everyone can live without fear and with dignity. I urge you to, again, make India a sanctuary city. Thank you for your time.
Let's just keep going off. Okay, next request to speak is Adam Rodriguez. Actually, use that one right there. There you go.
Hello, hello. All right.
Yeah.
I know majority of the council members here. Oscar, I went to school with. Wayman Furman, I know, and Ben Gertruan, we met the other day. You guys may know me as the artist that painted the mural right here on 45th and Jackson. I am here today to represent the people of Indio. Both of my sides of my family have deep roots in this valley. My grandfather was actually the city attorney for the city of Coachella for 5 years, and he helped create a pathway for immigrants to create a pathway for immigrants to become citizens here in Indio. He was a criminal defense attorney for 46 years out here. My grandmother was the first first female judge of Riverside County. So, you know, I'm no stranger to activism and standing up for what is right in our community. I grew up here. I love where I come from, and I represent every member of this community through the artwork that I create. I'm just here today to express my fear for my community from what I'm seeing and the inaction of whether it be in this room or people at the top and in Congress. I've been calling Raul Ruiz every day because I'm a constituent of his district, and I want to know what's going to be done about this. I know we come in, we do these public comments, but I need to see action from people at the top. I mean, it's one thing for us to come in here and express our views, and it's great. That's what democracy is all about. But if there's not action being taken, then what is democracy worth? And you know, I'm cool with you know, the IPD. I'm cool with people on your panel, and I know you guys recognize me, and I just want you guys to recognize us as a community, because I love where I come from, and you guys wouldn't be doing this job either if you didn't love where you come from too, right? So what are the actions that are going to be taken, and not just, you know, nodding your head and agreeing, but actually putting it to action and standing up for the people that you're supposed to serve and protect. And, you know, I'm an artist. I don't know what to do. I just paint. But what I can do is be able to express where I come from and the love that I have for my community as an artist. And I hope that the people that run the show, you guys, can step up and actually say something and do something. And if you have a way to talk to Raul Ruiz personally and tell him to vote no on this new measure that's coming up on January 30th to abolish ICE, and that you guys need to speak up. But if you're not, then step down. Thank you.
Comments? Okay, next request to speak, I guess. Michael Adkins.
Guys here? Here we go. All right, well, I would like to thank Oscar Ortiz for stepping up and talking a lot about the Latino community out here that came in to speak up. And it's very funny. We got about most of you guys not even caring, it seems like. And I'm not one to hide my disdain for you guys and the fact that it was so hard for you guys to say, yes, let's let the community members speak early, since you guys sat around talking in circles for an hour and a half. Very, very unfortunate that we have Glenn Miller sitting here with a smirk on his face half the time, Benjamin Gutron looking like he doesn't even want to be here when we have our community members speaking. And I just wanted to point that out while we're here. I am very, 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 very upset with the fact that I'm here, and I have to be here for this reason. For us to step up and protect our community, who we're happy to have them build all this stuff that we're getting built here, this couple million dollar building, which wasn't very needed, but apparently the city wanted it, the constituents, us, apparently we wanted this, and we didn't want somewhere for us to go safely meet and be safe while avoiding ICE. And yes, ICE just came up, but why are we not having more community centers built? Why are we not having more for the homeless that we said 200 homeless? It's not really going to affect the problem that we have here in this valley. The fact that you guys said the police are here for us, but when we get a phone call to the police, it takes them 15 to 20 minutes to get there at the very minimum. I don't feel very safe here. I don't feel as a white passing mixed biracial guy, I don't feel safe from our police. So imagine these people that are also under attack from ICE. They probably don't feel protected by our police either. And it's pretty crazy that we have to come here out and spend an hour and a half of our day to finally get to talk, and we get 3 minutes to talk about the injustice that's going on in this country and in this valley itself. It's very disappointing that we can't even clap, we can't even say good job to our people because it's apparently disrupting. When we have people that are here representing their community, our community that we actually want. We want these people here. We want to feel safe. And yet here it doesn't seem like, even Benjamin right now giving a little smirk, here doesn't seem like he cares that I'm trying to represent the people that are here today. It's very disappointing that as much as you guys talked about some great stuff that Indio is doing, none of it really affects the community at large, and none of it is really benefiting the community. Yes, it may be benefiting money-wise, but what about the people that are still struggling because they don't have better jobs? Boot Barn? No one really wants to work at Boot Barn. That doesn't help. You want some boots? Go to Texas. Like, it makes no sense. But at the end of the day, if we had more local help, more local businesses, yes, people would want to work. Yes, people would be here. Yes, and at the end of the day, bring other people out, but just, I think you guys can do better. And it did not look like you guys wanted to be here, so thanks for at least being here, because you have to be, because we pay you to be here. But thank you, Oscar, for being a very big participant, and I appreciate you and everything you've had to say. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. The next request to speak is Paula Marvin.
Hi, my name is Paula Marvin.
Can you please, is it possible? Just, okay. We'll get the microphone to her, right. Can you? You.
I'm just sharing the way it is.
We need you to put the microphone up because we want to hear you.
I want to hear you too. So ADA, Americans Disability Act. I want closed captions. You should provide it. Where could we get the funding? The funding could come from our federal government. IDEA, where could we get the funding? From our federal government. So no ICE, no ICE. Add IDEA, the Individual Disabilities Education Act, fund that, fund schools. I work in Coachella Valley Unified School District. I have lived here in the city of Indio since I was 16 years old. I worked at Straw Hat Pizza, right down where the Food for Less is now. I think it's a dental office. So I saw Vaughn's change into other things, like this is just our city. My grandmother worked in the fields. My grandfather worked in the fields. My father worked in the fields. I need my people, my dad's people, to have the rights they deserve. I have a friend. She has a significant other. The father-in-law to be was told, you have 90 days to leave this country. He's lived here 20 years. his work. He's done what he's supposed to do. He's an older gentleman. Why he buys a home in our country and now he's not allowed to be here? Get out. You got your 90-day notice. Sell your house if you can and get out. So there are stories that need to be told. And just you need to, in my opinion, last Thursday I called in sick. That was a day that 5 or 6 cars, not confirmed, but teachers shared, were on the side of the street. Children did not, for sure, confirmed. I talked to the principal of the school site, Oasis, and they did not have parent to pick them up. This is here. It is real. So again, back to the only thing I can say, maybe it can get in people's head, IDEA, not ICE. Individuals Disability Education Act. Fully funded. Go for it. Talk to, I shared, I better hurry. So last Thursday, I did contact Raul Reese's office. I talked to Frank Reese. I contacted Jeff Gonzalez's office. I believe her name was Grace. I can't remember. She called me back. And I also called, so a little teacher, me, 56 years old. I'm fighting for my students and for my community. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to continue with the request to speak. The next person is Joseph Hammersley.
Good evening, Mayor Holmes, Mayor Pro Tem, esteemed council members. First thing, my name is Joseph Hammersley. I'm the branch manager of the Indio Public Library right next door. For Councilmember Ortiz, let's get in contact. TODEC has the opportunity room. I'll work with it as far as capacity and scheduling. As a whole, an immeasurable thank you to the City of Indio and Riverside County for bringing this new library to life in this very busy, energetic city. Due to the hard work of Riverside County, City of Indio, and Tilden Coyle, at the library we have charging bars for adults, tinted glass courtesy of Sage Glass, a large opportunity room which is home to most of our programming, and more. Since its opening October 15th, here's a rundown of what we've accomplished so far. We have 544 library card registrations, on average 181 to 251 patrons throughout the library. We've got new programming, which you can check out on our socials. Our circulation is 43.3% better than it was last year. 571 children have attended all of our preschool to school-age children programming in the last 4 months. Our moving circulation this time last year was 947 titles. This year, it's about 2,132 titles. As a whole, our attendance has greatly increased, and a vast amount of that, I'll be honest, is from a lot of the events going on Indio on the lawn right across the street. A lot of people trickle over out of curiosity and stay for what we have to offer. We're just getting started. The path ahead is an exciting one for the Indio Public Library, our partnerships, and how we're elevating literacy to not just be a commodity, but a necessity. Currently, we're accepting volunteers. Our application is online at our Riverside County Library System's website. We are expanding our local history, which is always available in-house. We're working on a Friends of the Library space currently that is a nonprofit. We're also looking to get the upcoming programs implemented over the next couple months. Craft club, art club, bilingual story time, Spanish speaking. As a whole, we have heard the community's families mention at our children's events that while they enjoy our offered titles, they wish the children's section and selections were much larger, pardon me. I promise you your voices are heard, and that's something that we're actively working on to better our collections and how the space as a whole is utilized. To the community, we are grateful for all of your efforts, your presence, your input, and know the following. Todos son bienvenidos en la biblioteca, siempre. The library is a place to learn, to grow, and to empower, and will always remain as such as it has throughout history. Thank you for your time.
Is Joanne Cleveland?
Coming on, there we go. Okay, I am a retired teacher. I taught almost 4 decades, and the vast majority of that time was here in Indio. I taught the highest risk students the Valley has to offer. I taught pregnant and parenting teens, expelled and probation youth, incarcerated young people, as well as inmates at the Indio jail. The one thing all students have in common is the need to feel safe. When a student is fearful that she or he may get picked up by ICE, they can't learn. If they are fearful that when they return home, they may find their parent or other family members have been disappeared by ICE, they can't learn. As a community member, I know how vital it is for our children to learn what you and I have learned when we were in school. That has helped to make us become productive, tax-paying citizens who help our economy. I asked my adult students if they had held jobs. I asked them how it felt to earn a paycheck with their name on it. They responded with pride. If we are allowing children in our community to live in fear, we are failing them. Please protect our young people and allow them to flourish in school, in their jobs, and in their communities. Fear has no place in our children's lives. Thank you.
Next request to speak, Jonathan G. I have just a last initial, Jonathan G. There you go.
For having me. I'm not an outside agitator. I was not paid by anyone to come here. I was not bussed in. I was raised on Via Venecia, not too far from here. That's where I was born. I just want to say a few things. I know as public leaders, it can be difficult to kind of stand for the things that need to be stood for, to meet the moment. And as the Christian theologian Reinhold Niebuhr, he once wrote a book called Moral Man in an Immoral Society, questioning what does a moral person do? I know you're all good people. The question here is not whether you're good people or not. The question is whether you're going to do what needs to be done. So just a few things to kind of highlight what's being done, because I know we all know Renee good. But I want to just highlight a few others that I learned about. Maybe you heard Miramar Martinez. She was shot 5 times, and the ICE agent that shot her bragged about shooting her, putting 7 holes in her with 5 bullets. Bragged about it in text messages that were released through court records. Bragged about it to his buddies, about 10 minutes of fame. Now, some of you might wonder how you get 7 holes in your body from 5 bullets. You might think some kind of JFK magic bullet theory. But I'll remind you of defensive wounds. Some of you police officers might know this. It's because when someone comes at you with a gun and shoots you 5 times, and you put your hands up to protect yourselves, unarmed person, the bullets will go through your arm, your hand, and then into your body. Bragged about it on record. Furthermore, Geraldo Lunes Campos, ICE said that he committed suicide. Apparently, he strangled himself. But then it turns out other people saw that what happened, and what really happened was ICE strangled him, lied about it, and then is threatening to deport people that were witnesses, which, again, people in the legal community, police officers will know that you actually have visa protections for witnesses of crimes. They're called flips or U visas. I forget the name of it particularly, but those are just some of the crimes. So I just kind of, we all know what they are. You know, someone spoke earlier about working within the legal framework. They very clearly do not care about your legal framework. And every time they detain somebody, that's 20 laws that are being broken. From the violations of due process to detaining somebody without knowing who they are, what they're doing without any kind of a warrant, and then to the detention centers, whether they're 72-hour holds or these makeshift ones that violate every law known to man. And I just want to take one last moment to highlight everything they're doing. You know, we put $200 billion towards them. That's enough to invade Iraq again. Okay, I don't know if you know how much money is actually going to them, but there's 2 things. I'm just going to be brief. I won't have time on this. But there's basic audits, which you can just call up a company, or there's EROs, or emergency removal operations. Everything else is nonsense. The guns, the military vehicles, you don't need any of it. You can get the same job done, and Biden did it. He deported more than anyone. But you can get the job done without the violence and terror to your communities. And I'll just end with one last quote. It's from Omar al-Akkad. And he wrote about the failure of Western liberal societies to live up to their values. And what he said was simple. One day when it's safe, when there's no personal downside to calling a thing what it is, when it's too late to hold anyone accountable, everyone will have always been against this. Do what you need to do now. Don't wait. I know you're scared. Have some courage. Thank you.
Next request to speak, Benny, and I apologize, Fedrich? Fedrick. Apologize.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. My name is Benny Fedrick. I came to your lovely town in 2020 by accident. Heading to Thermo, accidentally got off in Indio. Drove through Indio, and my children were like, "Oh my God, this place is so beautiful, Dad. We want to move here." Went back home. 2 weeks later, I put our home on the market, and we moved to Indio, California. And why? First, the aesthetics. Oh my God, you guys have created a beautiful, beautiful city. Let me just tell you that. It's unbelievable, this valley. For some virgin eyes, beautiful. I live in a community where none of this exists. And then, I'm new to you guys, but you guys are not new to me. I've been watching city council meetings for the last 4 years since I arrived here. So, Mr. Ortiz, I know your outreach. Mr. Furman, I see you out there. Holmes, I saw you for the last 4 years on TV, Mr. Miller, and I've personally met you in person when I first drove here. I'm sure you remember. I came to the police department because I wanted to get familiar with the police department. And Mr. Ben was a very nice man. He gave me a tour, introduced me to some of the officers. And since then, I found out that you guys have also cultivated a great police department, in my opinion. Now, I said all that to say this. 68% of the people who live here are Hispanic. Once I dug deep into my community, I found something I've never found before. I found a community that accepted me. I found a community that gave off love and light. I found a community that I chose to bring my 6 children from my hometown to live here permanently because of all of these things that I talked to you about today. What you're hearing from your constituents back here, that passion, that anger, what you're hearing is not really anger. What you're hearing is hurt and pain. And what you're hearing is they know that I know there's nothing you can do about the federal government coming here and taking people off these streets. I know that. But what they're asking is just stand up, say something like Mr. Ortiz. Don't be quiet. Don't be complicit, because we can respect you a whole bunch more when you're standing up for us. And that's all that they're asking for you guys to stand up for them. To the police department, sir, you're the chief. Let me tell you, I don't know who did the job, but somebody, in my opinion, did a very great job. I've been treated with respect by these police officers. And sometimes they could have possibly gave me a ticket when they instead realized that I was part of their community and they gave me a warning. But what we're asking the officers to do, if they see something wrong, don't stand by and turn an eye and spit. Say something, do something, please, because this community is in dire need of your department and of each and every one of you. Thank you.
Next request to speak, Vanessa R.
Alrighty, hello, my name is Vanessa Rivera. I am a resident of Indio. I have 2 items to speak about. The first is less important, but the meeting on the 7th was canceled. The Coachella Valley Invitational is in February at the Empire Polo Club, which we all know as one of the Hagen family properties, but not the one where Trump had his rally last year. I love soccer. I love that there is an opportunity for me to be able to watch such talented NWSL players in Indio. But it is pricing out residents who would love the opportunity to go. $50 for a single day is too much. The ticket price this year is within about $5 from last year. And I went last year. I very much enjoyed myself. I would say at least 500 more people could have fit in the stands on the day that I was there. And last year, I put off buying a ticket until I saw that there was 30% off through a specific link on the City of Indio website. I would love to see something even better than that. Okay, sorry, bad idea, my bad. No, but I would like to see prices cut and more people in the stands. I know this isn't a city-sponsored program. I know this is private, but we work with the Polo Field. I just wanted to speak on that. Regarding ICE, my ask is simple, so I hope you accept. If you haven't already tonight, put yourself on the record. say you condemn ICE tactics, and acknowledge that many of your residents are living in fear. And if you feel like saying that this is a federal issue, and it is not in your duties as a city council member to do anything specifically for your residents in danger, please say that too. Please say it loud and clear so this recording may inspire a resident to run against you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Next request to speak, Jonathan Becerra.
First and foremost, this needs to work more. Good evening, council members. Good evening, mayor. Good evening, everyone here. I really want to start by just giving some background. I have worked in my life as a counselor to youth who have gone through very scary things. I'm not someone who's not experienced with other people's fear. I'm also someone who's gone through very scary things. I'm someone who's been abused, sexually assaulted, raped, beaten, and I've gone through very terrifying moments in my life that have deeply educated me. And what I want to say first and foremost is I have never been more terrified in my life for this country. And I say that with modesty and seriousness. I've never been more unsure of what's going to happen to myself, to my family, to anyone now. Because last couple days ago, I saw a woman, a mother of three, get shot in the face 3 times in daylight with no remorse, with actual actions taken against her partner now. And I don't know what to do with this other than to turn to the people who are closest to me or my representatives. And I don't know what solutions are to come of this today, but I know it can't be nothing. I know it can't be nothing because I know you guys. I know whatever it is, you guys love this city. And I love it too, but I'm fucking scared, dude. I am scared. I'm gonna choose courage, but this sucks. This sucks beyond measure. Like I can't put it in proper words. But even talking, I know what I want to say is I know we all feel this kind of fear right now. What we do with it, how we justify it to ourselves, how we move past it, how we cope with it is different, but I know all of us in this room feel it. I know that. And what I would like to ask, so I have one official ask, but what I'd like to ask is really see each other's humanity right now. See these people as not just voices in a room or constituents. See them as much human beings as you are, feeling exactly the same thing you are, because I know all of you are feeling the same fear as they are. And go from there. Start with the love you have for the city, for the people in it. Start with the same emotions you guys have. And I promise you coming together after that will be a solution. But it can't be nothing. It literally cannot be nothing. And the only actual ask I would have is to our chief is just, I know this may sound radical, but I don't really turn to the police force for this kind of stuff, but if they're using police forces against us, I'd like to look into trainings for de-arrest for people who are being kidnapped. I don't know what that means on paper, but like I don't know what else to do than to turn to people who are supposed to protect us. 'Cause it can't be that we're just letting people get kidnapped off the street or live in fear. We need people to follow ICE, track where they're going, let the community know, and that seems like it's you guys. I don't know if that's the proper way to do it, but that's the only thing I could turn to right now because this is weird. This is scary. So I don't know, listen to your community. They're smarter than me on this on some of these issues, but it can be nothing, dude. And I appreciate the time.
For comments. Okay, next request to speak. Al Meza, sir. Speak into it a little more aggressively.
Hello? Ready to say anything, but I was gonna say, you know, what is gonna happen when some of the people start shooting ICE? Hoping not in the city of Indio. I hope it's not. But I'm waiting, and I think Chief is not far away from to that start. where we're going, because we gotta understand one thing. During the Vietnam era, Mexican American veterans in this country still. And most of us know how to use a rifle, so when the time comes, and I'm real scared about it because I got granddaughters, I got a son. So it's really scary to the position that we have an idiot, because it was and attacking. Yeah, like when he talk about attacking Mexico, you gotta realize everybody's safe. So, and I want to say something to somebody who say something about Ben Witron. Ben Witron family and my family, and we've been Mexican American for all our life. And Ben Witron, you can see him a little bit white and little thin, but he's still a Mexican American, and he always been proud of being a Mexican American. Yeah, like me. Thank you very much, and I'm sorry about it.
Thank you, Mr. Meza. Next request to speak is Maria.
Noches, yo voy a hablar español. Vengo de gente. Okay.
Good evening. I'm going to speak in Spanish.
Soy María, vengo de aquí del Valle de Indio. Tengo 30 años, 47 años de vida aquí en Indio.
My name is Maria, and I come from the Valley of Indio, and I've been here 47 years here.
Y vengo porque estoy aquí cuidando a que ustedes nos ayuden y que por favor sean, somos familia, todos tenemos familia de alguna vez, o tenemos o no tenemos, pero tenemos nuestras familias que están sufriendo.
I'm here because we are family. We're all like a big family, and also each one of us have their own families, and we are suffering.
Y hay comunidad que está trabajando y están trabajando muy duro para sacar adelante sus familias, y no se me hace justo de que lo que están haciendo las autoridades.
And there are communities that are working very hard to make their families prosper, and I think it's not fair what is happening.
Y solamente se van a nosotros los mexicanos. ¿Por qué nosotros los mexicanos? Si también comemos y trabajamos dignamente.
And they're targeting us Mexicans. Why are they targeting us Mexicans if we eat and we work like anybody else?
Y por eso vengo a pedirles de que tengan prioridad con nosotros los mexicanos. Y estoy aquí y estoy dignamente, soy mexicana. Y vengo de familia mexicana y soy madre de una hija que salgo adelante todos los días a trabajar.
And I am here as a proud Mexican. I am mother of a daughter, and I go to work every single day for this.
Y esos mexicanos que son mis compañeros que son atrás, ellos también son los mismos, vienen a trabajar dignamente. Ya basta de que nos estén encerrando, que no tengamos que estar afuera, estar en casa. La familia tiene que trabajar y somos padres, tenemos que darles de comer a nuestros hijos. Y tenemos hijos y ese es el futuro del día de mañana.
As all the Mexicans that are here, we go to work on a very honest manner, and they're here just to go to work and push their families through and make them be better. So I want this to stop.
Por favor, que ya paren. Ustedes tienen corazón, nosotros también tenemos corazón.
You have a heart, we also have a heart.
Last request to speak, Ash Vega.
My name is Ash Vega. I just want to name that what is happening right now in our streets is fascism. These stories that I'm going to share were already shared, but I feel they're important to say again. On December 19th, a family was chased until their car crashed in Indio, resulting in a father and his 3 children being taken to a hospital. The father eventually taken to a detention center 2 hours away. A few weeks ago, a man who was being held in a detention center in Imperial died here at JFK. There's disturbingly so many stories to recount, far too many people who've been targeted and persecuted by the federal government. While I understand that the city has a sentiment that this is not your jurisdiction, ultimately what happens in city borders, in city streets, parks, sidewalks is your jurisdiction. We often hear the city of Indio is inclusive, but what good is it to be inclusive if mass people in unmarked cars are allowed to target and take people of color in our community without probable cause or warrant? There's plenty of evidence that everyone, including citizens, are at risk. Other cities and even counties are increasingly taking action to protect their constituents. Just last week, the city of Jurupa Valley implemented 2 resolutions, one banning the staging of ICE CBP DHS vehicles on city-owned property, the other banning masked agents. These are real, tangible actions the city can and must take to protect the community. I emailed the city clerk a list of the few of many cities and counties who've implemented similar resolutions and ordinances. While I appreciate that the city had submitted a FOIA request, we cannot wait for those numbers for action to be taken. It's not enough to hear and feel for the pain, trauma, loss, and violence your constituents are feeling and bearing and speaking on today. It's not even enough to just speak out. You must do something because you can do something.
Everyone, thank you for your comments and well thought out words. That is the end of our request to speak. Sir? Please do.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. My name is Chris Christensen. I'm the CEO at the Desert Healthcare District and Foundation, and I'm appreciative of the opportunity to meet here tonight with your city council and your community members, and to announce some effort that we are doing as the Desert Healthcare District in developing our new 5-year strategic plan. And we have been underway for the last several months with our strategic planning consultant in starting to develop new pillars, goals, and strategies to move forward as our healthcare district in accessing healthcare to our communities across the entire Coachella Valley. And Indio is in our district and zone number 6. And so we are in the month of February putting together some community listening sessions across the community. And in the community of Indio, we do have a session planned on Saturday, February 7th. Will be from 2 to 4 p.m. located at the Indio, the COD Indio campus. And the purpose of these listening sessions at this point is for our board of directors and our staff to be able to hear from community members in your area as well as the entire Coachella Valley to help form and structure our strategic plan as we go forward. And so we would like to hear the voice of your community members and helping us form that. And so I do have some flyers that I would like to leave with the city clerk. Don't need to leave them with you, city manager, sorry. And also to announce that there will be complimentary food, refreshments, also the opportunity to win a $200 gift certificate for attending the session. It'll be a drawing for that. And there will be Spanish and ASL translation. And we would sincerely appreciate opportunity for your community members to come out and help us form this long-term strategic plan. So, and if there also is opportunity to provide our flyer for social media purposes, et cetera, because we do desire your input. So thank you so much, appreciate your time.
City Clerk, are there any other requests to speak or anyone online?
I have no other comments, Mayor.
Okay. All right. I think I'd like to do at 7:30. I'd like to take a 5-minute recess, please, and then we'll come back at 7:35. Absolutely. Borrow it? Are you going to give it back to me? Huh? Wayman? Well, come on, you guys. Come on. Let's get everybody seated. Wayman can come back. Got the last two things. All right. If everybody wants to get seated, that'd be awesome. Probably went to the bathroom. Like the rest of us? Okay, well, we'll hang on for a second or two here. And thank you, City Manager, for that information on that young lady. God, you standing there for so long. I saw Dad. For the record. I can do that. Okay, all right, we're going to, hopefully Waymond, Mayor Pro Tem will be here in momentarily. He should be here in just a second. So it is 7:39, and we're going to call the meeting back to order. I just wanted to give an update to everyone that saw the young lady that fainted there. She was checked by paramedics and released to her father. She sat next to her father for the duration of the meeting. So all is well there. We're sorry that happened. There you are, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you. I'd like to go through the last two items on our agenda, which would be administrative items 12.1, presentation on SB 707, Brown Act modernization. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. And in, a reflection of the time tonight, I will give the expedited version of the presentation. We're going to be talking about the legislature's complete transformation of the Brown Act. The Brown Act is the state law which mandates open meetings for local government agencies. It's the state law which requires public comment, requires agendas, requires certain notices to be given. And the state legislature has been attempting, especially since COVID, to meet the 21st century expectations for an open and transparent public meeting. So we're going to be going through that. We're going to be going through what the requirements are, and we're going to be going through what actions your city staff is going to be taking over the next 6 months to bring the city into compliance. I'm going to give you a sneak preview. Almost everything that the state has mandated, the city of Indio already does. As a matter of practice. So we've been ahead of the curve for quite a while, but instead of being optional, it's now going to be required, but we're still going to go through them. And like I said, I'll try to give you the short version. The state, wants to have a smooth transition here. So you'll see that there's two phases. There's phase one, which already began on January 1st, 2026, and we'll talk about those changes that have already gone into effect. And then the bigger one, phase two, that goes into effect on July 1st, 2026. The city of Indio, and specifically the city council, the city is both an eligible city and the city council is an eligible legislative body under the code, and that's based on our size. It's triggered by being a city of 30,000 in population or more. We obviously have significantly more than that here in the city of Indio. The legislative context for this, like I said, the legislature has been attempting to keep up with the 21st century. When I started my practice many, many years ago, the idea of having a Zoom meeting with the city council was unheard of. I didn't have a computer. I had a big binder that had all the laws in it. The agendas and the backups were binders. And if you wanted to see what the city council was doing, you had to show up at City Hall at 9 in the morning because that's when the city council met to conduct business. There's been a big transformation over the last 2 decades and accelerated with the pandemic. The pandemic forced local governments to reach outside the room and to bring the public in. And so you saw things like AB 361, which was the pandemic era emergency legislation that allowed for remote participation. You saw that transition where we moved to just cause and emergency remote participation for members of the city council. You no longer had to post an agenda at your house if you were sick, but it was still a little bit clunky. It wasn't quite streamlined. And now we have SB 707 where they've taken all of those pilot and trial initiatives and they've put it all in one permanent and streamlined form. This is just summary, just a quick, this slide just a quick summary of some of the things we already talked about why the city is eligible and required to comply with some of these new mandates. Phase 1 begins on January 1st. The first thing that we were required to do as of January 1st is it used to be optional to provide every member of the city council and our various citizen committees with a copy of the Brown Act. We already did that here in the city of Indio, but now it's mandatory for all of our cities. So if you look at the dais, you all have a shiny new copy of the Brown Act that is updated as of January 1st, 2026, and it also includes some of the provisions that go into effect on July 1st, 2026. So that should be good for the rest of the year, assuming that the legislature doesn't adopt any urgency statutes in the meantime. We also are required to provide you with new copies of the Brown Act whenever the legislature amends it, and to provide you with some training on that. So we're going to be including that in our biannual AB 1234 training, which you already do. You know, there's a substantial Brown Act component of that training. So we'll be ensuring compliance through that process. The city clerk will likely in the next few weeks have you sign a document that you have acknowledged receipt of a copy of the Brown Act, and we'll be getting copies to all of our planning commissions and everybody else too, and that way we can be fully in compliance. And just to make sure that they're both on the hook, I also gave a copy to the city manager and to the police chief. You'll remember that there was some temporary regulations that went into place for social media. And there was a concern on the legislature that as public discourse moves into social media, that city council members may inadvertently engage in serial communications by responding to or even liking social media posts from each other about matters within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city. So that rule hasn't changed. That's simply now a permanent requirement under the Brown Act. It no longer has a 5-year sunset. They did also affirmatively state that you may engage with the public on matters within your subject matter jurisdiction. So that wasn't necessarily included in the previous version. But you know, I would say that discretion is sometimes the better part of valor. Decide when it's appropriate to get engaged on a social media post. But obviously the public's oftentimes looking to you for information. So it's okay to provide that information. It's okay to push that information out to the public. The prohibition is on interacting with each other's social media content. So no commenting and no reacting, AKA liking. That's effective now. They've increased the required transparency when it comes to local executive compensation. So following some scandals in the city of Bell, the legislature required that the city council receive an oral report on executive compensation, namely the compensation of the city manager. That requirement for an open session report has been expanded to all director level employees of the city. Again, something we already do here in the city of Indio, but now we're going to do it not just because it's good governance, but we're going to do it because it's required by the Brown Act. Yes, sir. It would. So the contract for the city attorney's office was approved in open session by the city council. If there ever was an amendment to the contract, I would assume that we would put that on a discussion item and you'd receive a report on what those changes are. Although that obviously doesn't directly affect my compensation because I'm not compensated directly by the city. The other thing that goes into effect on January 1st is some changes in how the legislature is approaching inclusive access. So historically, for example, the Attorney General's office had given an opinion that remote participation without compliance with the agenda posting and public access requirement was not permissible as a reasonable accommodation for a disability. And so we had received requests from public officials over the past. I would like to participate remotely as an accommodation for a disability. And unfortunately, I had to cite to the Attorney General opinion and say, that's not authorized, you'll have to find another way to participate remotely. The Attorney General opinion did a 180 on that about 1.5 years ago, changed their mind and rescinded their previous advice. And the legislature followed suit and has now stated that that is a reasonable accommodation. And the critical component of this is that the individual who is participating remotely as a disability accommodation counts as if physically present for quorum purposes. So some of the other requirements require that we have at least a quorum physically present here in the council chamber. the individuals participating remotely as disability accommodation would be counted for that. Unified standards, I talked a little bit about just cause and emergency provisions. You'll recall that this was some changes in the law about 3 years ago. The legislature determined that this was somewhat clunky. We had to keep track of how many times you had an emergency, how many times you had a just cause. It was different for every type of jurisdiction. So they streamlined it. Now there's one list for reasons where you can participate remotely as a member of the city council, and we don't have to post an agenda at your house. We don't have to allow the public to access your house to participate from that location. You're limited to 5 times per year under these provisions. And again, that is separate and apart from a disability accommodation. They're 2 separate things, right? So, you know, for example, if you have a contagious illness and you don't want to come and spread it, if you have a child care issue, if you have to travel for official reasons. So oftentimes some of you may be asked to travel to Sacramento or to Washington to represent the city or for other purposes. You can participate remotely using these procedures, and the city clerk doesn't need to post an agenda at your hotel in DC. Like I said, it's for the city of Indio, that is 5 times per year that's allowed. The requirements that you disclose if there's any adult in the room remain. That's unchanged from the previous law, and that needs to occur during the roll call. They also gave some additional affirmative language for the city to adopt policies regarding disorderly conduct, not only in person, but also online. This was to attempt to address Zoom bombers. So, you know, one of the things we're going to have to move to a mandatory 2-way audio-visual system. That means at every meeting, it's going to be obligatory for the city to provide Zoom or other type access for members of the public. And we're going to be having a policy drafted, brought to the council, that's going to address how we're going to engage with disorderly conduct in that context. Phase 2. So this is the big one. The 3 things that we're going to be looking at is the mandatory 2-way access, which I just talked about, the need for updates to our policies, specifically regarding technology failures, and then lastly, language equity updates, which will be applicable to the city of Indio. So the big one, starting July 1st, 2026, every city council meeting is a Zoom meeting. Any member of the public will need to be able to access the meeting, appear both visually and audioly. They will need to be able to speak to the council in real time, and basically need to be treated as if they are physically present for most purposes. If we go with a teleconference option instead of an audio-visual, we need to provide the dial-in. One-way streaming like we have now, where we're going out to YouTube, that's insufficient. They need to be able to speak to the council. I'm trying to get to the tech failure slide, and my tech is failing.
City Attorney,
Okay.
City Attorney,
Yes, sir.
in the previous slide, so we'll have the choice of having, you know, whether it's visually people participating from home or just audio.
The legislature is really encouraging audio and visual simultaneously, but for whatever reason, if that was technologically infeasible for the city, we can look at a teleconference process.
I'm thinking more on like the disruptions, right? If we do have a lot of disruptions, it might be easier to handle those if it's just audio versus both audio and visual.
It may be, and you know, one of the issues that we're going to have to address is having very clear policy direction, because this is, you're going to want staff to implement this relatively quickly when addressing those kind of concerns. And so having a clear policy that's in place, having training that's in place, and then making sure that we have the tools ready to go is going to be critical, because you can disrupt a Zoom meeting, as you know, not just with your sound and voice, but also with the images that you choose to broadcast on this at this public meeting. So that's a good point.
Thanks.
Talking about the tech disruption, if for whatever reason our web stream goes down or our conference line goes down, we are required to recess the meeting. We can go back into closed session if there's still items to discuss, but the open session portion of the meeting has to stop until the technology has been restored. We need to attempt to do that for at least 1 hour. If for whatever reason we are unable to get the technology up and going after 1 hour. The city council may continue any portion of the meeting, any items of business that you have, but only after making a specific finding that it is in the public's interest to proceed with that item at this meeting, and that interest outweighs the public interest in the remote participation. And so that can be, you can take one item that really needs to get done, you can do the rest of the items, but that'll be included in the forthcoming policy that we'll bring to the council. That vote has to be written down verbatim by the city clerk, and it has to be done by a roll call vote so that the public can see who voted in favor of continuing and who voted against. The other aspect of this that's going to be going into effect as of July 1st, and again, this is something that is coming from the state as being mandatory, but it's something that the city of Indio already does, is an obligation to translate our agendas into secondary languages that are spoke by a significant portion of our population. So how does the legislature define that? They give us a specific data set, the American Community Survey from the census. So that is a specific data. You can go to data.census.gov. It's all there. You can look up the city of Indio. We easily meet these thresholds. The threshold is that at least 20% of your community speaks a language other than English. For us, it's over 56%, according to the latest data set. And it's not a very good data set, if I'm being honest. It's a 5-year rolling average from 2018 to 2023, because the sample size is too small in the 1-year data sets that they apply for the city of Indio in the 2023 and 2024 data sets. But even using that most recent data, we easily meet the 20% threshold. We're more than double it, we're almost triple it. And of that 20%, 20% of those must speak English less than very well. For us, again, it's closer to 30%. 18.7%, one second, let's make sure I have it correct. 18.7% of the city of Indio speaks English less than very well. And so we easily meet both those thresholds, but we already do what the state is asking to be done. In addition to translating, the city will need to begin reaching out to community groups that represent portions of our community that speak languages other than English to ensure that they're getting access to the city council's agenda. And we also have to provide what's essentially being called a community agenda board. So the city council and all of our boards and commissions post our agendas outside of City Hall. We need to make a space, not necessarily on the one that the city uses for its official business, because that is actually locked to prevent vandalism and removing of our agendas. But we need to provide another place nearby that will allow community organizations to post the agenda translated into other languages. So that will be another aspect of a policy that we'll bring forward. And it's going to be a small public works style project, working with the city clerk to ensure that we have that access. Digital accessibility, they're really concerned about ensuring that if you go to the city's website, you know where the agenda is, you know how to get to the meeting. And again, we already have this. If you go to the City of Indio webpage, there's a button right there in the front, Agendas. You click it, and it tells you how to get to a city council meeting. So we're already meeting all these standards, but they're going to be coming from the state. So what's our roadmap and our milestones? Q1, we're going to be looking at developing some of these new policies and make sure that we work with staff, we work with the mayor, we bring it to the city council for your adoption to ensure that we have policies in place that are compliant with these laws. You're probably going to want to, although we have to have the two-way audio-visual in place as of July 1st, most folks in this field, including your city attorney, are recommending that we do a couple of test runs, probably in June, to make sure that the technology is working as intended before it becomes a legal requirement. Otherwise, we're all going to have to get used to waiting until the technology is working right. We broke this up in tasks. This is mostly for information purposes. I don't have to go through all of them, but so you can see what your city attorney, your city clerk, your IT staff are going to be doing over the next few months. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I felt it was really important that these are some pretty significant changes to the state law on open meetings, and I wanted to make sure you all had an opportunity to get that presentation and ask any questions.
Said one.
Please.
My question, Counselor, going back to texting, and it's all done with good intent. I just want to be sure we're still okay. When we receive as a group text, council receives information, no interacting dialogue, no decisions to be made.
The city is allowed to receive one-way communications containing information. The city is not, a city council is not allowed to communicate amongst itself outside of a notice public meeting.
So even if it says hello,
A text message from staff to everyone saying hello?
and then they hello back.
Oh, okay. You know, I think that we have to apply what's called the rule of reason to the Brown Act. You're not discussing or talking about anything within your subject matter jurisdiction. I think a simple greeting is going to be fine. But my recommendation is to, you know, follow these guidelines strictly. I mean, that's how I prefer to address it. But do I see a Brown Act violation with a council member saying hello to another via text message? I do not.
No, as far as a group text.
Again, one-way communication is permitted regarding subject matter jurisdiction of the city. I don't think a hello would fall within that, so I don't think it would be prohibited. But again, I think best practices would be to probably avoid it.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think that what we have to look at it as is we're not discussing city business, right? If there's an earthquake and we need to get a communication out to everyone via text, and yeah, we're okay on this side, we're okay on this side, that's an emergency, and I think we'll be fine there. I think it's just discussing things, or, you know, that could be interpreted as discussing a get you in hot water. But I like to go to the social media thing, because that's kind of questioning. I mean, if someone posts something, you just can't like it.
If a member of the city council posts something,
Yeah.
You can't like it. And, you know, it's interesting because frankly, the legislature received a little bit of heat for this and some chuckles, like we're regulating people's likes now. But the public policy behind it's pretty sound. You know, if you make a post, and again, this is about something within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city. So we're not saying, you know, a picture of your child at some, you know, significant milestone. We're talking about something of a personal nature. We're talking about something within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city. So, you know, I'm bringing forward an item that's going to address this issue. If one of your colleagues posts a reaction to that and likes it, and then another colleague sees that, now 3 of you have interacted on a matter within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city outside of a public meeting. You know, the legislature is really concerned about the business of the city council occurring here, where the public can see it. And although we oftentimes think of Facebook or Instagram as being publicly accessible, the fact is they're not. Not everyone is on social media. Some community groups that a lot of people are part of aren't actually open to the public generally. Maybe they're open to only people in a specific neighborhood. So that's the concern that the legislature was attempting to address.
No, I get it. Thank you for your interpretation of that, Mr. Mayor.
Excuse me, my comment. It wasn't that I don't believe in doing it. I just don't want to be judged for doing it. And I get what you're saying. If there's a major earthquake, I think we get messages. I did it my whole career. Blind copy everybody. Unfortunately, the system doesn't do that. I feel more comfortable because it's the public that judges us, as you saw tonight, and there's no way to respond.
Yeah, no, I was just wanting him
That was it.
I want him to clarify it, because sometimes when you just read the black and white, it might seem a certain way, right? And so somebody might interpret it some way, but we have to, the Brown Act is there so we don't have these discussions about possible items that might be a discussion item or something that's going on right now. So there's a purpose why it's there. It's happened before, correct? And so, but I think we operate well within means of the Brown Act. So I appreciate it.
Okay, sir.
Stephen, so let's piggyback off what Wayman says, and I agree with him on certain stuff. But if we're doing like the boot barn opens up and that, and he's ribbon cutting boot barn, you tell me you can't like something like that?
I know. So, you know, this is one of those situations where the legislature has their perspective on this, right? And it's not for me to insert my policy preference and substitute that in place of the legislature. I think that when we're talking about a boot barn opening. I think it's frankly, how is it phrased, right? The operation of a business, the decision to open a business, that's not really something within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. You don't open businesses, right? And so I think it's how it's phrased. If it's a push from the city, like, hey, boot barn opened, that's fine. You can like that. If it's, hey, we have a development project application for a new boot barn on the city council agenda, and I'm going to be supporting it, that's different. So, like I said, I think it's sort of the same answer I had to Councilmember Gatron. We have to apply the rule of reason to this. We have to use common sense. And so, from your city attorney's perspective, if, you posted a picture cutting a ribbon at the boot barn, and someone liked it, I don't think that that's going to be a violation of this provision.
Any other thoughts? I know, lots of gray area in this kind of thing. Okay, is that it for this particular, sounds like it, all right.
That's all I have,
Thank
Mayor, is
you.
receive and file.
That's quite a bit, thank you very much. Item number 13, public hearing, introduction of ordinance number 1829, adding chapter 125, residential rental inspection program to Title 11, business regulations of the Indio Municipal Code. Resolution number 10531, residential rental inspection program fee schedule. Jose Ramirez.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and members of the council. My name is Jose Ramirez, Principal Management Analyst. Tonight I will be discussing item 13.1, which introduces ordinance number 1829, which establishes a residential rental inspection program along with resolution 10531 to adopt the fee schedule. The goal of this program is to ensure that rental properties are well maintained and contribute positively to our neighborhoods, while providing a clear, fair, and consistent process for property owners. This is also intended to support our Indio Lindo beautification efforts by reducing visible blight and improving neighborhood conditions citywide. A significant portion of Indio's housing stock is made up of residential rental properties. Many are well maintained, and we acknowledge that. However, the city has came across and continues to encounter substandard conditions, deferred maintenance, and exterior blight at some of our rental properties. Over the last 24 months, code enforcement reported over 237 cases related to rental properties. Currently, enforcement is largely complaint-based, and the approach has limitations. Some tenants may be reluctant to report issues in fear of retaliation from their landlords, and conditions can go unaddressed for long periods. This ordinance moves the city towards a more proactive and consistent approach that helps chronic, non-compliant landlords be more accountable and help ensure that tenants in Indio have safe and living conditions. So what does the ordinance do? The ordinance adds Chapter 125 to the Indio Municipal Code and includes 3 core components. The first one is registration. Each non-exempt rental property would register annually and provide current owner or property manager contact information so that the city can communicate efficiently regarding inspections, notices, and follow-ups. Second is the annual inspection component, where each registered property would receive an annual pass or fail inspection. If it does not pass, the owner receives clear findings and a reasonable timeframe to correct. A reinspection is then conducted to confirm compliance. And then the third is enforcement and due process, which contains written notice and opportunity to correct violations, an appeal process through a hearing officer that will be supported by a court enforcement team. Resolution 10531 establishes the cost recovery fee structure for this registration inspections and re-inspections. These fees are designed to cover administrative and inspection costs, and they are not to generate revenue. Overall, the program improves tenant living conditions, reduces blight, and consistent property maintenance citywide. These are some before and after examples of cities that are not located in the city of Indio, but we just wanted to include for reference. And these are some of the properties that we did find in the city of Indio that we wanted to add for context as well. So with that being said, city staff recommends that City Council introduce ordinance number 1829 to add chapter 125 to the Indio Municipal Code and to adopt resolution number 10531 to establish the residential rental inspection program fee schedule. That concludes the presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
No, I'll wait till after the public hearing.
After the public hearing?
One question, what are the fees looking like?
Yeah, so the annual registration fee is $100, and if they were to fail the initial inspection, there is a $115 re-inspection fee.
Just because everybody else needs to hear you.
Okay. Well, we paying, I think, $65 for the proper first rental, and then something like 45 for the next one, 35 for the next one.
Multiple, right.
Okay. In fact, for the last 8 years, I'm just paying you guys, and I don't really want you to go and inspect the house. Inside the house for years. But anyway, so you're talking about it, you're gonna raise it for $100, and you say you're not making any money, but to right now, in the last 10 years, you wanna raise the price, and you're not gonna see me again. Because like I said, are you wondering? So the way you say you're not gonna make money, you just
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak on the subject? Okay, if that's the case, I'll close the public hearing and turn it back to my fellow council people. Mayor Pro Tem, any thoughts? Any questions? Jump in.
So I think for the purpose of, I didn't hear the word, and then you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I know every staff makes a big effort to do their best, and Jose, you always try to. Long-term rentals, correct? Okay, I just didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. If I didn't, my apologies. So this whole topic is long-term rentals. So every long-term rental in the city of Indio that takes out a long-term rental permit is subject to getting an annual inspection to make sure they're maintaining their properties. At the time of application, there should be, I'm assuming, a list of what is responsible for that long-term rental. Maintain your front yard, make sure the house is in good condition, make sure the landscaping's met. Vehicles will not park on unpaved surfaces. It must be paved either by pavers or concrete. I said, so the applicant and the person that renews it, as long as they're obeying those basic rules, no pending code enforcement violations, no pending parking enforcement violations. So then that's no problem. Eventually the applicant will it'll be smooth, not a problem, online, save the problem. So I can see that because we have a lot of people that have not, like any other city. The next thing is when the inspection will be done by a person not from the police department, it's a whole structured program under whose direction?
It would be through the city manager's office, but the Indio Lindo program would do rather than occupy the time of code enforcement until they're needed for some sort of citation, it would be conducted through the Indio Lindo program.
And the reason I asked this question, I did read the report, but I want who's ever going to listen to this, and like Mr. Meza came up, wants to be educated on it. As we know, you can write it 100 times, you can put it on flyers, but we're going to have to do a really good job getting that word out. I get it. I think the council gets it. I make this exercise because when you introduce a law, it's education, education, education. And there's never one notice, one flyer, one trifload, one whatever, or social media. We have to make sure that. I think that that would help. The other one is at the point that eventually, if there's no compliance, there has to be enforcement. So then that's when it goes to code.
Exactly.
The subject is a lot of people do not understand that code has 4 different missions. Short-term rental violations, everything related to that, the regular code compliance violations, not maintaining their business license violations, and parking violations. Code enforcement officers' primary mission is to deal with violations. We have a specific category of staff to work parking. So we need to make sure as they're getting parking violations, because as we go through the city, people who have more people living at home are having a hard time finding parking. We're not the only city that does that. I just want to make sure as we add new tasks, we're not impacted. I had this discussion with city management, so they're not being blindsided by this. I just want you to know that it does impact. So, because if code gets impact, they can't deal with the rest of it. And we know that parking, like many cities, I can only think of one that's really done a really good job at it, and that's Long Beach. They're very on top of it because they have limited parking. They have limited parking. They have a whole system in place. So as long as we are using those role models of where it's actually working, where the public is well educated and knows what to expect, and I'll give you an example. During COVID, we did not do any parking enforcement. Why? Because everybody was home. So we were extremely reasonable. Before we implemented it again, as opposed to a couple of cities that didn't do this, we did PR work. For a whole month and so many days, we just did warnings, reminding them it was coming back because we had it absent. That's what we'll be doing. We'll be educating that this is what's going to happen. We don't have to do that, but since we're a very proactive city when we implement things, that would be my request. It cannot impact because I feel that eventually, to kind of answer that one question, where does the money go, is to pay for those resources to keep them going. We're not here to make money. We're here to keep services going. I think it's a good idea, but I would like not to see those impacts that I just explained without thinking it out well.
Okay. I'm letting that all sort of filter through my brain there. Okay. Any additional comments on that?
I just got one if I
Go
could.
ahead, please.
So Bryan, so the Indio Lindo is going to handle it. Are they trained in this? And then since we're going to start this up, is it going to start July 1st when they do it, first of the year, because they're going to get hit all at one time, or is they going to come as they come in?
Yeah, it is a rolling process for these permits to come in, but we'll want to advertise it or inform them. We also have a scenario where we believe there are a lot of people that are not as responsible as Mr. Mesa, and they are not following the follow business license process. So it's gonna take some months to get that word out. The regulations are fairly clear, and we'll want to present those to them. But I think as they renew their licenses, it's going to kind of be a rolling process over the course of a year. I know Mr. Ramirez and the code enforcement manager have had some conversations and good discussions. Part of it, to the wise point Councilmember Gutron brought up, is this could relieve code enforcement staff from that initial. There's 237 last year, so hopefully there's good synergy there. And this registration process is one where we'll know where they're at, we'll know who's responsible. A landlord can't say it's their renter that has to do it. You as the landlord, the property owner, you are responsible. It has to happen. And we should not be able to drive through a community or a street and look at the homes and say, that's a rental owner, rental owner, because of how they look. They all need to meet the same requirements.
Sounds good. Exact reason why we talked about doing it for the businesses too.
Exact same thing. Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
thank you.
I think abandoned homes as well as abandoned businesses, the same registration process.
We have a foreclosure.
Right. I remember when that. So there's a set of standards then that we'll be applying.
Yes, and it's the same for the owner of properties as well. The difference here and the fees that are paid to be a business, this is a person running a business within a neighborhood. This is a revenue-generating opportunity, and they have an obligation to meet the same requirements as the rest of the owner-occupied homes. And unfortunately, and I could use the example of a rental car, I don't think any of us would do this, but often a rental car, you treat a little bit differently than you do your own car. And we've just seen that in the 30-something years I've been doing this. The rental properties are often, not all, are often not taken care of as well as the owner-occupieds. Perhaps it's common sense. So the cities that have had these successful programs, some of which he showed a couple of pictures, it's night and day. Property values will go up because of this effort.
Excellent. And so Indio Lindo team will be the ones that will initially go out and inspect it, say they don't clean up their yards or fix whatever the problem is, then at some point it gets turned over to code enforcement and they follow the usual path. Okay. Sounds great. Beautify our city. All right, we're good. Okay, that's it. I think that's the end of this meeting. The public hearing is closed. We've done public comments. Do I need to vote on this? Thank you. I seem to have.
As recommended with the comments that were given by council.
I have a motion by Councilmember Goutron, and do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilmember Glenn Miller. Let's take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Are we going to have the whole electronic thing one of these days? I was just, got us used to that. Okay. Huh? Yeah, yeah.
Maybe a little hand that goes up.
That's it. There you go. That's it. So we lost a couple of champions of Indio, and so I'd like to adjourn this meeting and take a moment of silence in memory of, I knew Bill Teague personally. He was a mentor in many ways for years and years and years, and I am familiar with Mary Ellis Hearn as well, though I did not know her personally. And so I'd like to adjourn this meeting in the memory of Bill Teague and Mary Ellis Hearn. If we can just take a moment of silence. Thank you, everyone. Go forth and prosper. So ends the meeting. It is, well, I tried to change